give people an update, um, and just maybe put the situation on out there that basically the bank underwriters explained to me, or the underwriter. They have more than one. They get together and they evaluate your loan and everything. Um, so basically, the underwriter said he basically said, look, I'm going to be, frank with you. It's nice that you actually called and said this happens. He says, usually we deal with, um, when this happens to guys, they just quit paying their payments or shut their account off, their bank account. And we can't get a hold of them. They won't call. We leave them voicemails and stuff. He said, thank you for at least calling and telling us what's going on with the truck and everything. But he says, to be honest, he says it happened at a bad time, to speak off the cuff per se. He said, um, he basically said that the valuation for what this truck is worth, he says it's basically worth scrap prices now. He says if this was happened a few months earlier, the truck would act, even though it's a 9400 and it's old and everything. He says the price practically doubled from a working truck. He says the value on it was about 15 to 20,000 at auction. He says the value jumped up to about 30 to 40,000 dollars during everything with truck prices and everything. So that's why they were able to actually give a loan to me on this truck. He says as of right now, he says the market, as you well have known, the market's dropped. The truck's just not worth anything. And I guess from their standpoint, they're underwriters altogether. They're basically throwing good money at bad. That it right now, it just be, they've already had, he says they've already had an uptick in repossessions and things, and events like this. He says that they've come to agreement that basically, it's throwing good money at bad. That they're not gonna, that there's too much of a risk already as it is. That they're not going to get their investment out of it. Even showing my last settlement and everything, he says that there's still a possibility that even if I do get it in frame, something else might go, transmission, yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. And that just the trucking market is so, how did he say, volatile, that the way the spot market went is volatile. So banks, I guess banks do keep track of this, because they are an equipment financing company. They do trucks, other things. So they basically, what he says is they're going to probably write my loan off. They're going to put it in collections ASAP. He says that's just what they're going to have to do for them, so they can write the loan off. And that they'll get a tax write-off off of me, and I'll be sent into collections. They asked, is the vehicle off the road, where's it at, do you want us to come pick it up? They will come pick it up, but I end up getting stuck with the bill if they come pick it up, and they'll take it to auction, and they'll auction off for whatever they can get for it, or it's going to go to a junkyard, and I'll have to pay for the tow out there and everything else. So as of right now, what I'm going to do is I just unfortunately, I guess the Enterprise that's nearby, they quit taking, it's at a dealership, so they quit taking rentals as of right, like 3 o'clock or whatnot. They won't take new rentals, or they just don't have no cars available. I don't know what it was. Tomorrow I'll get a rental car and pack as much stuff as I can out of the truck, and I'm going to go home. I do have a buddy with a low boy. I'm going to talk to him and see if we can't run down here and pick the truck up, at least put it somewhere, because right now, to be honest, it looks like the local cop's sitting over there right now. One, I don't want to have the truck towed out of here, out of this truck stop, which I doubt it will. And two, I don't feel like coming back to the battery's gone, the tire's gone, stuff stripped off of it, because I've been seeing that happen. I mean, I'm not in a bad area, but it's just, they're taking tandems off of trailers, So let me see, I got some comments here. Let me stop, professing my, man, what the heck? All right, let's see here. We got Wheel Burner Express in the house. He said, hey, what's up, bro? Jerome Jones, good news. Well, now he sees, says, damn it, so he got to it. Will Burner Express, sorry to hear the news. Yeah, it is what it is. I kind of, like I said, it's 50-50 shot at what would happen. He basically said if this would have happened earlier, or if the market was still good, they would have done it. That's what they said. It's just the financial numbers aren't there. Like he said, he was talking off the cuff to me. I kind of understand this a little bit because I did vehicle financing before, car financing for a little bit. Kind of tried to get into it at a dealership that I was. This was when I was like, I don't know, 19, 20. Kind of in between of being a mechanic or maybe trying to get out into the white collar part of it. So I do kind of understand vehicle financing and how they value things and stuff like that. So, like I said, they were pretty much saying that they'll take the truck and, get it somewhere safe or try to auction off. And then, if it auctions off for some money, they'll apply that money to my loan. But I think what'll happen is I'll basically pay somebody $1,000 for a tow truck bill from them to take the truck somewhere, have it sit at auction for a while, pay the fees and everything for the auction, and then end up having the truck go to the landfill. It would probably help if the bumper and hood wasn't torn up from the hit and run that I got, and maybe I should have fixed that. But like the bank said, throwing good money at bad. So now what's going to happen is, I'm going to try to get home. I'm going to get rental car over here. I'm going to head home, see if I can't get my buddy with a low boy. See if he'll decide to hook up and run down here like 400 miles and pick it up. I guess I'll pay him for fuel and whatnot, and at least get the truck to a safe spot. That's my wifey talking to me. See if I can't get the truck to a safe spot, at least that I know it ain't going to get ravaged for parts, and try to come up with a plan what to do. Right now, my carrier, I'm a catch-22. I don't know if throwing more debt at debt is really a good idea, because if I get this T680, we're talking, that's not really technically a lease purchase. That's T680. It's basically a loan. He even asked me, he says, so is this, what I have now, he says, is it, is it already on your credit? How long has this been going on? He said, I said no. He says, well, this ain't technically a walk-away lease purchase. He says, this is basically an actual truck loan for a brand spanking new truck. That's why the warranty is so, extended and everything. And that's why the truck's, I guess, overpriced. Well, maybe not really overpriced, but he says the just the extended warranty and stuff's $10,000 for the truck through PACCAR. So let me see. Will Burner just popped up here. Please take a company ride till all lease February or March next year, then take the lease option. Well, it's not, to be honest. Like, I'm not really getting ripped off on the lease option. Now, the way I am getting ripped off is it's not a monthly payment. If I ended up trying to do this through a bank, I already tried calculating out the percentage and everything. It's pretty much, I'm going to be paying 10%, or 8, was it 8? I can't remember how I did it, 8 or 10%. I'm basically going to be paying 8 or 10% on top of the actual cost of the T680. Like, it's almost like a Lone Mountain kind of thing. That's the way I would say. It's not like a lease purchase through a carrier. It's kind of like a Lone Mountain deal. And the entire the payment that I'd be paying is, like I said, like $1,100. That includes, there's a maintenance escrow that they mandatory want taken out. So I think that's like $200 on top of the payment. So really the payment's less than $1,000, but I have a mandated maintenance escrow. And I think $100 or $150 security deposit escrow, which would basically mean that's for if I decide to abandon the truck, they have basically my money in an escrow to come get it and put it back on the lot and try to sell it because it's a new truck. As long as, I guess, I don't, destroy it or whatever might happen to it. So it's basically like a high risk new truck. Well, like I said, they I guess they manage the risk because it's a brand new truck and it's still, truck prices, at least for new trucks, are still high. in that market sense. So that's how they're navigating the risk on letting me buy a brand new truck, is that they know they can turn around and sell it. Um, like I said, I'm thinking about the credit, but you know what? My credit never really came back from my first divorce. I've been hovering around the 650s, God, since like 2006 or no 2010. Well, 2010 is when I had the divorce and everything went downhill. But it's never really come back up. They changed the way credit is, and I guess calculate it. And I haven't had. I think the highest I've gotten my credit score up to is a 680, and that's like I was working real hard to do that. In fact, I was even just I was getting what do they call those credit cards? Um, Secured credit cards, a couple of them, and just keep paying on them just to try to even get up to that. But even now, like I ended up, we bought a lease. My wife had a lease for a car. I put my name on it for her, and so we're buying it because it was stupid not to buy the car because it was worth more than, we'd be giving it back and dealership would be making money off of it. So we pretty much made out on that deal with the car because it had no miles on it, the Traverse. So as soon as I put my name on the dotted line and put my name on the loan, my credit score dropped 50 points just by buying a car. So uh, let's see, 1,000. Yeah, that's well. If this was spot market, wheel burner, yeah, I wouldn't even think about it because I already saw the trucks that got given back at my last carrier. But it's a dedicated Tyson account. As long as Tyson's running, it's going to be here. And the people that are running the account, I think, are some kind of intertwined with Tyson. They're in the same state. Their headquarters is not too far from actual Tyson's headquarters. And from what I've been reading and kind of trying to investigate, they've been riding Tyson since, I don't know, the 90s or something. So I think there's, I think I'm safe here at this carrier. But like I said, yeah, you're right. It's like throwing good money at bad. There's a chance that shit could go south. Let's see. If you add up the loss and repairs, cost downtime, and fuel costs, yeah, that's what I was thinking there, Cash, about the fuel. Because even babying this truck, I'm still. Let's see. Last week I averaged babying the hell out of it. I averaged like 6.4 miles to the gallon, and I was babying it like. You know what? Now maybe I was lugging it too much, babe. I don't know. I know Cummins don't like really low RPMs. I was dropping it down to like 1,200 RPM. So maybe that's one thing that didn't help it out because I've been trying to drive this truck as fuel efficient as possible just to put money in the account. But I was still paying, even with discounts, I was still paying like $1,800 in fuel. So. Yeah, it is eating fuel up. But I figured I was saving off the DEF, but I know a lot of newer trucks don't use as much DEF as they used to. So I don't know. But you are right there. My cost would go down. No, I didn't. No, I wasn't talking about. Oh, okay. Wheel burner's talking to you, Cash. Um, my live stream's jacked up. Um, what do you mean? Is it you can't hear me? Is it not going out there? I don't know what you mean there, Chase. Wheel burner, dude. The price of that T680 is too high. Oh, it's too much. If you're not if you're not putting anything down on it, please. I am gonna put $5,000 down on it, and then the carrier is supposed to put like match or put $10,000 down on it. I imagine the carrier's getting a kickback because they're part of that. They're the ones that turned me on to it, so I'm sure there's some kind of kickback for them. Either that or to keep me running. I don't know how that's going to go, because they do have, the guy did tell me there's about 12 of these T680s running around here for this carrier. Though also, Wilbur, the way I see it is, if this carrier goes under or loses this contract, and or Tyson has problems, I would say we're all screwed. To be honest with you, I would say it's the economy. It's not the trucking market then, and we all are probably going to have problems. We're probably going to look at like a super bad recession. See, I don't know exactly how bad 2008 was for trucking. I know for everything else it was horrible. It was horrible for me, and I had a normal job, and I didn't even have a mortgage and stuff, and it was horrible for me. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I can't really see me digging much more of a hole. I'm already in a hole. I'm already pretty much looking at either making enough money to keep paying for this truck, because I only have 15 payments left. So either splitting it in half and just paying it off and keeping the truck around until I can get either home where I know I can find somebody, or a cheaper price on an engine, or a rebuild, and either have it done and have two trucks, and maybe see if I can't get out of the other T680 loan then, if I end up getting this truck running. Or I do have a few people that I know that are company drivers right now that hate where they're at, or been hating where they're at, and one of them's already worked for me before, and maybe he would be fine driving this truck. He likes old trucks. He like this is his thing. So maybe I'd put him in this truck and run him at the same carrier. So I don't know. That's a possibility too. Now these are all just suggestions and ideas that are popping in my head, but look how bad things have went already. So let me see here. Cash, yeah, but he's on a contract mileage rate. Okay. You're safe, bro? Yeah, Chuck, I'm safe. I've been safe the whole time. I was freezing earlier, but now that I got up and, got food and moving around, I'm feeling good. But I'm not trying to post any of this to, like ask for help or anything. I mean, I know everyone's helped me, because F8 ended up emailing me and stuff. I'm not like broke, the end of the world here, but I just figured I always said if I did this, I was going to show everything, including, no matter how this might taint my reputation with anyone on YouTube or whatnot. And I wanted to show what can happen out here. I mean, I'm a stickler for bad luck. It's always been like a family curse. It just happens, no matter how good and knowledgeable you are and you work at it. Something always happens, and it's always at the worst time. So I figured, why not put this out there? Show guys, if you really want to become an owner operator, this is the stupid shit that can happen. This is the dumb stuff. No matter, how knowledgeable or you can be or whatnot. So God, if you're just saying, oh, I'm just going to get a truck from Lone Mountain and jump in here, and I've had my CDL for a year or 6 months, I'm just going to be able to make it and make millions of dollars like everyone else on YouTube, and let me get a 20% dispatcher fee and he'll find me loads and be golden. No, that's not what's going to happen. You'll probably end up something like this or worse, or like I said, I could have been in that snow blizzard over on 80 somewhere and had this happen, and been curled up in a ball wondering if I'm going to die. So trucking is dangerous, and there is a lot of stress, and things do go wrong, and I kind of wanted to show that. I didn't want to show that, but I said, if this is what ends up happening, I want people to know. I want guys to know, so we don't have tons of guys thinking this is a gold rush, this is easy money and jumping in here. And that's kind of what's happening. Hell, I had $20,000 or $25,000 just in a maintenance account to this truck, and it nickel and dimed me to death, and then the market turned. If I would have done it sooner, I could have had a bigger shovel, and it wouldn't have probably bothered me. And if this would have happened sooner, I would have had money to devote to this engine, because I could have probably bailed myself out. It probably would have been a used engine, or if it happened later after a few of these checks. Like I said, these checks so far have been The first one, I didn't really run that hard. I mean, I ran, but it wasn't like I was 1 week off, 1 day off. It's $4,500 after expenses. I don't have no expenses. I have no trailer to pay for. Um, I'm not paying a percentage. I'm running on mileage pay, direct from the carrier. So, yeah, that's how that goes. Like I said, if this would have lasted a little bit longer, I could have easily just dropped the um, $7,500 engine into it. There's a engine place up by me that specializes in rebuilds and used engines. They pull the engine apart, they check the bearings, they replace the bottom end bearings, do the gaskets on the outside, and they warranty it for like a year or a certain amount of mileage, and you can buy them for like 7,500 to 10 grand. And that would have been what I would have probably done, and I could have easily done if it would have lasted a few more, like another month or a couple weeks or whatnot. So hey, this is just how the cookie crumbles. So, oh, let's see. Hey, your live stream is perfect. Okay, no, it's fine. You sound good. I'd see if the finance company would let us send that truck to auction and pay them the difference. The problem though, Cash, is like it's a 07 9400. Like what the hell is this going to get at auction? Especially since the front end's boogered up on it. I mean, it wasn't, it was a half-assed lipstick job anyway, but when that guy who pulled out and grabbed my bumper and fucked the hood up a little bit, when he did that hit and run when I was in the shower in the morning, I don't know, a couple months ago, it kind of went downhill, at least the looks wise, from when I first started. It's amazing that how much in a year, well, a year and a half, I've polished the wheels and stuff, I've tried to keep the chrome up and stuff, but it's amazing how much in a year and a half, if someone spray paints jobs the hood and Mickey Mouse and stuff, on how much stuff like starts deteriorating and going on a truck like this. I never intended to be a show truck. I intended it to be something easy to fix and cheap to fix, and keep it on the road. That's really what it's intended for. But like, I don't see it catching anything in auction. I see me owing them money, towing it to an auction. That's because they're going to charge me for the tow. It's going to go into the account, I would imagine, and that's what I see is going to happen if I have to do that route. If I just try to let them auction it off. I mean, it might end up eventually happening anyway, but that's what I'm looking at, that it's going to cost me money onto whatever I already owe the leftover payments to, for them to auction the truck off. See, Jerome Jones, it's no, you work for a week, you get paid every Friday. The problem was Comdata was having that problem there or something, and that's what happened with that. I ended up having to wait like 4 days because it was pending in my bank, and I guess the bank had to or make sure it was an authorized deposit, or I don't know, something like that. So that really wasn't, that's not their fault, or it might be Comdata's fault, but that was kind of my bank's fault, to be honest with you, more than anything. But I mean, they pay every Friday. If you have your own authority and you go on to them, they pay every Tuesday. So it's not that they can't pay you. It was just a little hiccup. I mean, like anything else, just like the license plate hiccup I had because Texas for some reason would not recognize the electronic title I had for the truck. That caused me to have to wait longer. And then, Thanksgiving came up and stuff. So, I was paying bills and truck payments with no money coming in, and putting fuel in the truck to get back to my house and everything with no money coming in. So that, that all adds up real quick, and that's kind of what put me in the predicament that I'm in now. Like I said, I should have, when I knew the spot market was leaving, I should have left sooner, but the problem was I kind of had the attachment to the previous carrier, like not emotional or something, but I knew them there. I didn't want to just like flake out. I know it's business and business is business, but I figured maybe I could hang in there, that things weren't going to get as bad, especially for flatbed. But I'm not saying the market's gone, or but it is bad. It is bad, and you have to make changes to keep your business going, and that's kind of like why I came here. Like I said, I'm not a real fan of reefer, but it pays the bills, and it's the freight is there's a lot of freight. People got to eat still, at least still. um, let's see, old school, no school. Could you go company for a bit to keep paying the truck and save the rebuild? Here, I couldn't go company. I could go company, but the problem is, um, I don't have a lot of bills at home, but what I do have is from my previous divorce, child support. If I do find a company job, it's going to have to be a very well-paying company job, and I'm probably looking at, let's say I gross $2,000 after taxes, Medicare, and everything. You're down to what, about $1,600, $1,800, and then I pay $250 a week in child support for one child. Let's just say I had a hell of a legal battle, and it didn't really do nothing for me. Let's just say that. So 250 out of what left over 1,600, that drops me down to like what, 1,400. And I mean, if this was still a couple years ago, $1,400 is pretty decent money a week. Um, but today, like, my electric bill's gone up since all this. When I first bought my house, I had a $60 electric bill, like almost all the time. Now with everything the way it's gone, my electric bill went from $60 to now, like, doing just running things the way I've always ran them. They're now like $150. Now I'm not saying the electric bill is putting me under, but I'm just saying, like, everything has gone up. So $1,400, sure, I'll be able to live off that, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing, at least half or another $900 on top of that. The child support payment, and thank God I don't have a mortgage or anything like that. And my wife does work, but it's just a little part time, not part time, but just a little. It's like $15 an hour, so that comes out to, whatever that comes out to a week. And I mean, it put a lot of stress on me and the family for nothing. I'm guessing is what I would say, to continue paying on this truck, if I went company. So I don't know. It's an option. Like, I mean, it's just kind of like the bottom of the barrel option. But I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with going company or anything. I'm just saying, for my circumstance, which is kind of stupid, and a lot different than other people, $1,600 is good money, depending where you live. So, so that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. I have a choice to either go more into debt with a brand new truck, or basically, get a company job or some other job, maybe not even in trucking. I mean, I've already looked. I applied to recently when I was sitting here. I applied to Reading Anthracite by me. They're paying up to $32 an hour for, I don't know. They're looking for all kinds of stuff, welders and stuff. Applied to the railroad by my house, because they all want CDLs too, so that helps out. But the big thing is, though, she's my wife's more in tune with, I guess you want to say, our local community, and she talks to, she used to be at Chevrolet as a service writer, so they would, people would bring in their Cadillacs and Chevys and stuff, and she knows, like, the owners of Reading Anthracite and all this stuff, to talk to them. Everyone's looking for jobs right now. There's places that are letting go, places that are doing stuff, people that are cutting back hours, manufacturing jobs and stuff. So, I'm basically, for a CDL driving job, I could probably get a job. It just depends on how good it's going to be. So that's the point of that. So other than that, I just figured I would come on here, update everybody that I'm not like dying in the truck. I can kind of take care of myself. I mean, I'm not trying to do this for, I'm not trying to ask for, like, money or something. I'm not going to put a GoFundMe up and all that stuff. Or not GoFundMe, Cash App. I mean, I already kind of took a swing at messaging somebody over here that's pretty well known on on YouTube that's actually helped somebody out with a blown up truck, and I didn't get anything back. So I don't know, maybe what I wrote him looked like a scam or something. I don't know, but I'm not the type of person to go look out for handouts. I've always tried to take care of myself, and it's just it's just the way I've been raised. So, like I said, I'm either coming to the point either go back to company and try this again, or just plow through it. I'm pretty sure I could make an extra $1,000 on top of what I'm making now, because like I said, the last run I just did, well, the run I'm still was currently in was a 1,300 mile run. It was paying what I calculated it out to be. From Portland, Oregon into just about Atlanta, Georgia, it was gonna pay me like $3,800 or $3,900, like $4,000. And that was going to take me, technically it's going to take me, I was supposed to be there Wednesday. I forgot I'd been there Wednesday, dropped the load off. It was actually a trailer swap. All I had to do was drop the trailer off and swap to another one. They would have told me to go to the plant probably in North Carolina, or I think they have a plant in Georgia, and I would have probably took that chicken back up to Pottsville in Pennsylvania and just kept rolling. Like I've never sat, and when I do sit, I do get paid. I have gotten paid a couple $100 detention at everywhere I've sitting. So, it's not like I'm not making money nonstop. So maybe I could make that extra $1,000 and pay the truck off. I'm just gonna have to, run harder, because I wasn't really running hard. Like to make that $4,500, I was not really running that hard. I think I did like 2,200 miles, 2,100 miles for that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I just figure I'd keep guys in the loop. Some of my fans, and thanks for anybody that's reached out to me either through YouTube or emailed me. You know who you are, and it just shows the kind of people that are actually out there, and that there's still humanity. That this isn't that not everybody's going to jump on here and make fun of everybody and do stupid stuff. Let's see, Will Burner. Realistically, dude, with today's economy, even with a dedicated load, no owner-operator should be out there without at least $10,000 in the bank as a cushion. Yes, you're absolutely right. And like I said, when I started this, I had $25,000 as a cushion to keep this truck rolling. And, just between how long it took sometimes to get the repairs done on this thing and the way the market, like I said, I came into the end, let's see, I started August of 2021. So I had the run through August, and then it slowed down a little bit there in the winter. And then by April, I would say April is when the real turning point is, when the market just started dropping off. When I was sitting in Long Island at a 100-mile radius looking at reefer loads, and I could only find like 35 loads, and they weren't paying very well, and I had to deadhead like 100, like I don't know, 80 miles into New Jersey for them and stuff. That's when I realized, like, hey, something changed, like within like a day or two period, or like overnight. Like, why is there only 32 loads in the Long Island / New Jersey, Connecticut and whatever for reefer? So yeah, so that's what happened with that, and I just continuously had breakdowns that slowly, I ended up using business savings to keep the business rolling and the truck, and then the spot market just took I went over to flatbed. I did real well for like 2 or 3 settlements, and then flatbed started the same thing. It just seemed like the load started disappearing. Either that or capacity got matched, because everyone probably was jumping off dry van into flatbed to try to stay afloat. Man, I don't blame them. There's just still too much capacity out here. I don't know how these guys, I remember when 19 came around after 18, I remember there were carriers and owner operators just bailing out and either becoming company drivers again and dropping like flies. It for some reason, it's either that many new people came into this industry during the last 2 years, because the gold rush or whatnot, or they're somehow able to hang on, or they put money away, or they got loans. I don't know. I would have thought by now we would see a balance out. But then again, like I said, the economy's hurting too, so maybe that's playing a role into it too. Maybe sure, truck capacity is going down, but maybe also load ratios are going down. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I'm gonna get off here. I guess I'll have dinner. I don't know. Maybe I'll hop on. I'll hop on again, or maybe I'll make, I don't know, make a video about something. Maybe to try to talk to new owner operators what could happen. Or I don't know if anybody else has a live feed. Maybe I'll hop on just to bullshit, and just maybe talk things over. Wheel burner. I'm not ignoring. I think I just saw you pop up again. I take what you say. I know that you know what you're doing. And like I said, I'm not trying to jump on this T680, or I would have already, I would have already filled out the application and stuff. I'm thinking about it. Because realistically, a lot of the people that I've seen that are still kind of doing good, surprisingly enough, have newer trucks. And when I was looking at it, or listening to a guy tell me that I could either trade the truck in after the end of the lease and stuff, and I'm sitting there thinking about that's pretty much what most mega carriers do. They'll get these newer trucks, they'll run them to 400,000 miles, and they'll get their $100, they'll sell the truck back to a dealer. They'll get $100,000 or $70,000 in. They'll take that $100,000 and deposit it down onto another truck, or they'll lease purchase it to somebody, or even had them paying for the truck. I'm guessing that Mickey Mouse business model is what's been working for most people, because I've done a lot of repairs on this truck. And like I said, I've had injectors done at a Kenworth dealer and stuff. Like the cost to keep one of these trucks running anymore, even an older one, is astronomical. If you don't have a shop and you don't have buddies or people to help you out, or welders or whatnot, like if the market the way it is, the profit margins are very slim in trucking right now. They're extremely slim, unless like I said, it's not about how good you are or whatnot. I think right now it's about who you know. When I mean who you know, I mean it's who you know for repairs, backing, and I mean maybe financial backing or whatnot. Brokers, if you actually develop a relationship with brokers, like that, the loads never hit the board, they call you. If you actually develop one of those relationships right now, or was able to get in contact with somebody to develop direct customers, you are set. You don't, like, if you got people that are paying you to pick up their loads and aren't looking anywhere else, aren't trying, they feel comfortable and they feel that whatever you're charging for their load is reasonable, and they're not looking anywhere else, those are the people that are succeeding right now. The guys that are coming into this that are just figuring they ran off the spot market and keep going, and even like I said, I tried to build relationships with brokers during this, and even the ones I've ran multiple loads for and stuff, they just don't, they seem like they don't care. When I was doing flatbed and stuff, they just didn't care. I had their numbers saved, I had their emails saved, I kept all that information. But like I said, even doing a lot, what you should probably be doing, you can still fail at this. Like I said, it's about probably who you know right now more than anything, and a little bit of luck. That's what if you come upon this video and you see one of my lives and you're new, don't think you're going to become the next, Prime or Rob Lowe, or I guess that's his name, and whatnot. Don't think that's going to happen. Be happy that if you even get up to 3 or 4 trucks. And even then, still, disaster can hit, because now you're relying on other people. So, yeah, all right. Let me see any more comments. Good comments here. Yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated. I feel defeated. I was just on Wheel Burner. I was just on DIY's live the other day, and he says, look what Jackknife did. Kevin, look what I've done, and I changed my business and I got into a direct carrier, and that's what I did. I tried to do the right thing, and disaster struck. I'm kind of wondering if maybe, I was thinking, in my theory, look, I had like $25,000 to $30,000 to devote to buying a truck. I could have probably done more, but that's just what I kind of put aside for it. I was like, well, I've already played with the new trucks. I've already had the pack car problems out of that 2015 or 15, 14 truck. I already played that 10,000, working to go to the dealership every other week to have them, give me a $10,000 bill. I was literally working to play dealership tag with repairs. I already did a new truck. I said, why don't I try to get an older truck without an emissions and something with a rebuild? And I did try to find one, and I found one, and I kind of got outbidded on it. So this was the sister truck to that, and it had still 600,000 miles. Is kind of low mileage. Just in me general for at least not having EGR problems. I figured, and let me go the old truck route, and I did. And I was okay to put up with the rattling dashboard, and the seat's actually pretty decent, comfortable. The dirt. I was okay to put up with that if it made me money and didn't cause me problems. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. Like a month into it, I had the power divider go out. Didn't make any noise. Somebody was in there already, put different gears in. They're dated, and they just didn't do a good job. That's all. And it wasn't like the dealership did it, because they were dated 2014. Obviously, this shouldn't have gears from 2014 in it. It's an '07. So, that was the first big hit on like $6,000, and then it just kept, eating away, this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And just things. Oh, and then my pickup truck, I ended up putting a good amount of money in that. I needed a rear in it too. Go figure. But that was a problem from Dodge anyway, that whole mess. But anyway, like I said, I try to keep personal and business expenses separate. That's the only way you can actually make it. So now that I'm rambling on all kinds of stuff, and I just saw Wheelburner pop up here. All those guys that are driving new equipment and seem to be doing well all had to work up to that. They didn't just go from company driver to successful owner operator overnight. Yep. You're absolutely correct. I mean, some of them might have, but like I said, it's just buying a new truck isn't going to guarantee you make it. If the truck isn't breaking down and stuff. Like I said, you have to have. It's about who you know right now, the connections you made. You got to be thinking business wise. You got to be talking proper to people. This is a business. Guys think that they're just gonna, that this is a hustle. Like, you can see it because you watch on YouTube all the time. People trying to hustle truck drivers, and guys feeding into it. Go on Facebook and just look at what guys feed into. All the time I comment. I'll see, oh, get your on Facebook, like rates and lanes and other things. Trucker News, or I'm trying to think of some of the groups. They'll be on there, and guys are so gullible. They'll hop right on it. They'll see a pretty girl saying, "Oh, get your PPP loans. I'll show you how to get free money and stuff." And they're on there, IMing them, handing out their Social Security, their EIN and stuff, and it's almost turned into a joke. The trucking industry is almost turned into a joke, unfortunately. But to be honest, a lot of things have kind of turned into a joke, at least business wise, and. It's a shame that there's guys that are being, like, what do they want to call it? Like predatory lending, scammy stuff like that. Look at all, like I say right now, look at all the dispatch services and new, what do they call them? Factoring companies that popped up in the last 2 years. People are after your money. If you're making money and they know that you're undereducated and not business minded, they are after your money, and they will say anything to your face, or especially online, to get your money. And even some of these channels, I mean, some of these YouTube channels, I mean, I know they have good intentions and they're using it as a business, but some of the people they're talking to do not have the mental capabilities to understand that this is entertainment, and they automatically think that they're going to have. I don't want to point anybody out, but we know who we're talking about. We they see the nice house, they see the different pickup trucks and cars and a new KW and a good looking wife. I mean, it's just that's entertainment, and there's guys that are jumping in here that are thinking that they're just going to do it, and they're just going to get a truck and make millions, and it's not. Um, you might end up like me, and I even was smart, trying to be as smart as I could with things, and it still happened. It's just, to me, what happened to me was a lot of bad luck, and it's just what it is. So now I'm at a crossroads where either I can go try to be company or hop on a different kind of lease purchase. But what the problem is, I want to stay here where I'm at. I feel that when I found this account, this dedicated account, I would have done this. I probably would have done this account even when spot market, even when I was making $5,000 to go from Chicago to New Jersey. I would have probably said, that this isn't going to last forever, and I would have jumped on this Tyson account. One, because it's right by my house, and two, it just makes sense. I have no cost to worry. No, there's nothing to worry about. No trailers, no repairs, just a truck and my fuel. And it would have been it's easy peasy. And the Tyson, they're not going to go nowhere. And I don't think the carrier that's hauling for Tyson goes anywhere. I think they're here. I'll put it this way. So I ended up doing before this. I did utility poles, and the broker and I guess you want to say the transportation CEO of the company that moved the telephone poles were just so happens pretty good acquaintances and good friends. Well, what that equaled out to was 20 years of this broker slash driver. He ended up having to become a broker because certain things he's done to run a company, but it equaled out to a basically an endless business relationship, because even though that company got bought out, that transportation manager is still in with that company, and he is still hauling those poles. Still, for 20 or 30 years, he's had this contract just because of who he knew. No matter what. And trust me, they weren't great. They had problems. They missed deadlines and stuff and screwed stuff up and and stuff. But it wasn't enough to anybody really notice. And even then, he became friends with the owner and stuff. They'd go out to dinner and stuff. And this is a multi-million-dollar operation. The company was well, they're not around anymore. I guess I can say it. What was it? McFarland Cascade. Well, McFarland. And then the bigger company, Stella Jones, out of Canada, bought them out. And then they got out of it, and the kids didn't want to run it. And, so now basically Stella Jones run the show. But guess what? That transportation manager is still controlling all that, what was left over of that company. And it was still a big company. And guess who's still hauling those poles? So, like I said, it's sometimes about who you know in business. It's not about what you know, because like I said, I could run that operation 10 times more efficiently and profitable. Well, maybe not profitable, but he's lazy at it. I mean, I don't hate the guy for that. He got lucky. He's in there. So like I said, it's about who you know sometimes. And yeah. Let me try not to turn this into a 2-hour live feed. I mean, if you guys still have, want to hear me bat some kind of knowledge out here or rambling, because like I said, I've been basically sitting in here. I've talked to a few truck drivers here, but like I said, they definitely, the two or three truck drivers I talked to here did not put, faith in humanity. I'll tell you that, because you'll go in there and they start talking, and next thing you know, the guy's trying to tell me that he's making like $10,000 a week and stuff, and you look at the truck and you're like, and you look at the guy and it looks like he's not showered in weeks, and you're just like, all right, dude, you know what kind of shit goes on. So, but like I said, I could be in a worse spot. This is not that bad. I've seen stuff on YouTube where people have had problems, owner operators, fleet managers, and fleet owners and stuff. This is a blip compared to that. I just all I had to do is have a decision. I'm glad. You know what? Like I said, I'm glad, guys, that people are worried about me. I can't say guys because there's Shannon Thomas, but it's thank you. Thank you for, making sure I'm not freezing to death and stuff. Hey, what's up, Nomadic Brit? Trust me, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Trust me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to come out and show the bad of this. I'm trying to use it as a learning experience. Like I said, I want people to see this and know that they're not gonna. They're just getting a truck. They're not. No, even if they have a maintenance account, like a $20,000 maintenance account, they're not always going to succeed. There's still shit that's going to happen. This is trucking. It's a business, and even thinking business minded, you can still fail. And I don't want to say I'm failing. I just, you know, shit happens. I don't know why that guy has his plow down, but okay. Um, so yeah, it's I don't know. I don't really feel that down. It kind of sucks when you're sitting there freezing, wondering if you're going to get this truck out of here or get a rebuild. But I can see where the bank comes from. Would I give myself a loan? I don't see. Like I said, the people that I talk to at the bank, they sound like they probably would give me the loan, even the one underwriter. But they have a group of people that they go around. I guess he says we had a meeting with other underwriters, and we decided, that the decision was unanimously made that, it's like throwing good money at bad. So like I said, I mean, I know that I could have maybe got help if this, like I said, if this would happen at a different time in the market and stuff, and the truck was worth more, I could probably got a rebuild loan. And you would think, I'm probably not going to try anywhere else, because you would think the company that, the equipment company that owns your truck would probably be the best interest for them to keep you moving. So if they won't give you a loan, is anybody else really going to give you a loan? Probably not. I even asked if I could put half down, like on a rebuild, because I said, what a rebuild? It's probably gonna be like 25 grand. I said, if I could put 10 grand, towards it. I said, will you finance the rest of it? They said no. So, it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, we're having a British Canadian circle jerk going on over here. That's how you build up those strong arms. Oh shit. Yeah. That was nice. Good laugh. But yeah, so I guess we'll see where this is gonna go. I'll probably maybe I'll film me getting the rental car and stuff, and just film the whole. I'm gonna film the whole thing. Might as well just do this like a vlog. Like I said, I'm hoping other people see it and I can help people out and just show. What I don't want this to be taken as is guys, pull up my videos right now and are like, oh, this guy's a failure. Let's watch him fail. I'm not trying to make that kind of, drama bullshit that gets put on here. I'm trying to actually make this. I'm trying to let people know that, trucking's not the glorious thing that's going to make you millions. It's not, it's not a hustle. You can't treat it like a hustle. But yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get something out there that the people that are hustling on YouTube, maybe this might get to somebody and be like, maybe I should think about, what I'm doing before I get into this. Let's see. Nomadic Brit, get a plan together and execute it. Yeah, that's one problem right now. There's no plan for me right now. Like I said, I wanted to be proper. I called the finance company up and said, hey, this is what happened. I'm not, not like, oh my God, they're calling me. That's what happens. That's the worst thing anybody could do. You guys that are out here to get these Lone Mountain loans and trucks and stuff. When shit hits the fan, the best thing you can do is contact them. Because then they aren't wondering if you're like trying to park the truck out and do all kinds of goofy shit. They won't harass you as much. Call them up. Tell them what's going on. Tell them your problem. Maybe if the truck's still moving and stuff, maybe they'll, because that's one thing he says. He says, if we defer some payments, it can help. I said, well, deferring payments, I said, ain't going to really help because I can't make money with the truck. So they were willing to defer a bunch of payments for me. So, if you having problems, call before you can't make payments. call the company up and be like, hey, shit's going bad. I don't want to default on a loan. Can I defer a payment or two, or put it to the back of the loan or whatnot? And usually they'll say okay. Now, if you're already like behind like 6 months and you've been like hiding your phone, and, you know, like, oh my God, they're calling, and, you know, putting it in voicemail or whatever, or saying, no, this is Kathy. This is not Kevin. It's Kathy. You have the wrong number. You know, if you're doing that crap, they're not gonna help you out. So, like I said, I'm probably preaching to a choir here, because most of anybody that's in here is you know, seasoned truckers. This is, like I said, I'm pretty much batting ramblings out of my mouth for the greenhorns that might come upon this video, which probably won't really happen, because I've noticed, I don't know what happened, but I've noticed in the last couple months or month or two that, I don't know, I was thinking maybe it's because the flag I had in the background that I took down, maybe, I mean, it's sad that you might have to do that on YouTube, but I was thinking it was maybe the Don't Tread on Me flag back there that was maybe hurting my channel. But my channel kind of, I don't know, plateaued out. Maybe it's because I'm not doing flatbed anymore. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm not trying to become like the next Just Trucking or anything, but I was at least hoping to, you know, at least hit like, you know, 1,000 or 5,000 subscribers or something. I don't know. Because, you know, I do try to, well, not now, but before I was trying those vlogs, like I do try to make decent content and sit there and edit videos for a while, but now I'm getting off on a different tangent. So, yeah. Anybody have any questions or any ideas or something you want to throw out there? I mean, I do have 12 people here. I'd like to at least try to make some kind of entertainment other than me just rambling about, you know, how trucking can be very bad. But you know, it can be good too, because like I said, trucking's probably brought a lot of people out of, you know, their Walmart CSA jobs and whatnot, you know, too. But the problem is, what people end up doing is they go from not making any money to making decent money, and guess what else follows them? Now they decide to go out, hey, I'm gonna rear the shit box, I'm gonna go buy a brand new 2023 Kia, I don't know, Forte. Well, now you got your payment. Now you got people taking money out of your check. You know, maybe not directly, but, you know, you're paying it. So that's what happens when you make more money. Your costs go up because you think you should live higher on the hog. I don't know. Anyway, if you're watching this and you're new to trucking, I highly recommend watching some Dave Ramsey videos. I don't mean follow everything he says to a T, but at least you know, the guy knows what he's talking about. And I know you can't really get around without financing stuff. I know he says don't finance anything, but at least know that you're, you know, you're signing a contract with the devil when you finance stuff. You know, the borrower is slave to the lender. You know, so that's some direction I could say to definitely for financial stability. Definitely just watch some of Dave Ramsey's videos. Wheel burner, there's no failure here. Well, I'm not trying to be mean, but yeah, I mean, maybe not. I mean, I don't want to say I failed. I guess I could have done certain things. The biggest thing that I don't want to really stress about is I don't want to be like, hey, hon, maybe we shouldn't took that Disney World vacation that you were planning for years, and that, you know, I was making really good money and you decided to do it, you know, with the kids and stuff. You know, I don't want to say that to her, but maybe I'm thinking maybe that would have been a bad, you know, would have been a bad idea to do, because I would have had some more money laying around, at least business wise. I kind of want to take money out of my personal savings, but I know better not to. You know, that stuff's there for furnaces, roofs, things like that. So I'm just pretending, just closing my eyes and pretending I don't exist. Because I could go easily put a used engine in here with personal savings, but I might not be able to. I might not be able to receive the rewards of nightly back rubs, if you know what I mean. If I did that, so let's see. Old school, new school. There was an engine there was an engine failure. That is the only one that can fit. Hold it. That is the only one I can think of. Yeah. Well, thank you, old school, new school. Um, you know what pisses me off more about it is everyone's like, oh, you get an old truck, you do oil samples and stuff. I could go back there right now and find the oil sample paperwork. I have at least 5 oil samples in this truck. And like when I first got it, yeah, they were a little high on metals and stuff, but I talked to them and I did the second oil change and stuff, and all that went away. They said it was just probably the oil, type of oil or whatnot that was in the truck. And ever since then, I've had good oil samples. I had a little bit high on the lead, but they said for an older truck, that's there's nothing crazy out of hand. And as soon as I got this truck, took the old coolant out of it. I put all new. I forget the coolant in it, but it had green coolant in it, first of all, and it ended up needing a radiator. But to be honest, when I got the radiator fixed, I think that too. When I had engine mounts I had to get put in the truck too. That costs way more than I thought it should have done. I don't think it should have cost $4,500 to put engine mounts in this truck. And here, I think it was the body mounts that were bad anyway. But anywho, like I said, they put engine mounts in, and I think when they did the engine mounts, they screwed my radiator up and poked a hole through it. So I had to put a radiator in. Yeah, like I said, the repairs added up quick, and it was just like, I started doing stuff myself because places I was taking to, it seemed like they were half-assing shit and taking too long and actually breaking stuff while they were supposedly fixing stuff. So there's that too. Sorry, I kind of got a little angry thinking about all that there. Now that just brought back anger memories. What I call it that. But yeah, so it's not like I didn't try to. What are the word I want to use? Minimize my risk, I could you say. That's kind of what I thought I was doing when I made sure I didn't have that EGR system and the SCR and all that stuff. I figured I was minimizing my risk, but apparently maybe I wasn't. I could have bought a DD15, and how hard is it to change a one box? I mean, I could do that, and you can buy any generic. That's the nice thing about DD15 and ISX. You can buy just about any generic scan tool off eBay for a couple $100, and you can regen, you can read codes. If you have an emissions truck and you don't have like OTR software or a scan tool, you're not minimizing your risk. You can at least kind of diagnose and maybe help your at home technician out or mechanic to fix your truck instead of having being raped by $200 an hour labor rates. Which is kind of funny because the last dealership in, I said, hey, so I see your labor rate, because you could look through old reviews. So I see in the last year your labor rates jumped almost like $90. I said, I said to the mechanic, I said, so did you get like a $30 raise, or a $20 an hour raise? He's like, ha, he's like, I'm still making the same amount I made here 6 years ago. So I don't know. Maybe costs have went up that much for the dealerships. I don't know, but like I said, so that's something that I'm just rambling about. Let's see, new school, old school. If you can write the check to do that, sometimes you have to do things that you don't really want to do. Oh, you mean out of the personal account? Yeah, well, like the way I see it, it's her account too, and we came to an agreement when I did this that I wasn't going to jeopardize the family, for things. Because what'll happen? I'll take money out. I mean, the roof's new. I mean, yeah, the roof I did is new and stuff. I mean, there's really nothing bad that could happen except for maybe the fact maybe the engine in my pickup truck blow up, or something. There's nothing really bad at home that could happen. But I do have a coal boiler has a 1945 motor on it. Maybe the boiler might rot through. I maybe didn't know, or might have to replace that. That's probably a $10,000 fix. There are stuff at home that could still happen that money probably should just stay there. Like I said, there were, after divorce and even before divorce when I was younger, I've already had the worst feeling in the world is having something big break. Like, let's say like I remember I ended up hitting a pothole and got two flat tires. And this is when I was younger and just had my first daughter. And we were, just barely making it with rent and stuff. And I remember not having money for two tires, at least right then, until I got paid. And realizing that I'm living like paycheck to paycheck. That is the worst feeling in the world, to live paycheck to paycheck. And I never ever want to go back to that. Period. I mean, technically, the money that I have saved up, I should have a lot more at my age saved up. My 401k got shot when, totally killed during the divorce. It got killed, really got killed before that when who, Mr. Obama, came into office, and that whole, like, my Vanguard account just like exploded into smithereens. And I guess ever since then, that's one reason why I decided, like, I tried to start an automotive business before, and then I got into trucking, kind of out of necessity after divorce. I figured because she was planning on moving and I needed a job down south, and I figured that that'd be the best way to go. Get a CDL, I could go anywhere, and that never really went out. She decided her mom got sick, or her grandmother got sick, and she stayed. So I had a CDL, and I was like, hey, let's do this. Let's and then eventually I saw you could become an owner operator and have your own business, and that's what I've been trying to do ever since. Because I've noticed anybody that I ever known recently to have a job, like a regular job for somebody, never really got that far. They always continue to live, unless it was like a really good job. Most trucking jobs, they still continue to live paycheck to paycheck. Now some of that's their own doing, and some of that's just some of this stuff just simply don't pay much to live a middle class lifestyle, and you know that's just the way it is. I'm trying not to go into politics, and I'm no economic expert. I don't have a degree, even though I don't know if that means much anymore. But I'm just telling it how it is. At least through the 13 people that are listening here. So, well, I guess let's see. I've been here for an hour. You guys still want to hear me rambling about economic hardship and truck prices and engine rebuilds? I only got 4 thumbs up, so maybe not. But let's see here. DataQ, how long is it? Is the reefer training at CRL? That's take home. That's take home. Dacono. I don't know. I'm probably gonna butcher that name. Dacanova. And there was no reefer training. Actually, I'm not even supposed to touch the reefer. Whatever they set it on, to be honest, they were telling me not even to turn it off when we drop the trailers off, because they don't pay for the fuel. Tyson does, I guess. They don't want any liability for that at all. It was the security. Well, one, the shipping people check it. Then there's somebody that usually walks around, checks the trailers. Then when I leave, security checks it, makes sure it matches with the BOL, and they touch everything. Now I know how to use the reefer and everything, so there's nothing really to train reefer, unless you were going to own your own reefer or need to know how to like check like at least check the oil, and even then these have warnings on them and stuff. Like, I don't try to open the case. Like, I don't want anybody thinking that I touched something and ruined anything. But I still check the oil on the reefers and stuff, especially, but they're all newer. I would say most of the trailers here are 5 years old at the most, and I've yet to see a trailer with old tires on it. Every trailer I've seen has brand new tires on it. In fact, if you watch one of my vlog videos, the damn trailer still has stickers on it. It's like, I think they just I think they determine a date, or I don't know what they do, but I think they just decide to say, hey, it's been 3 years, time to put new tires on all the trailers. I'm guessing that's what they do in here. I don't know, but I've never seen so many new trailers on. Oh man, hot photos here. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, thank you very much. Someone already deleted that. Thanks, Jerome Jones. Let's see. Waiting on Chuck to send a rate sheet to sign. Yeah, you'll get it. You'll see it. Like I said, I don't know. You don't have to go with CRL. They have other companies too. So I mean, I don't know where you're located. So, uh, they pretty much have other dedicated accounts with different customers. I mean, I'm sure the rates are different and what you might make a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure it all is done pretty well, fairly um, like that. So, uh, just say, hey, Chuck, Kevin told me, that you have other accounts too. I mean, like I said, I don't know where you live, Jerome Jones, or how close you are to some of the, Tyson accounts, but I mean, there's other stuff too. Same thing with anybody else that wants to call up. Uh, I kind of hate doing that. I'd like to be here at least a month before I just tell people to start calling. But to be honest, the way things are out there, I don't know. It's just, it's, still do your own research, I guess. Yeah, see, you're probably going to go somewhere else then, Jerome Jones. So that's probably why you're going to go to Arkansas for orientation. Speaking of which, Chuck right now is calling me, so I'm going to end this live feed or pop back in if this is a real quick call. So we'll see. Because Jerome Jones said something about it. He's watching the stream. Um, yeah, I guess he wanted to emphasize that. Yeah, the lease purchase or pretty much purchase that I'm doing is kind of like a Lone Mountain deal. You could take the truck anywhere, but he just wanted to clarify that they don't have anything really involved with that. So, I guess because earlier there I said that I don't know if they get any kickback or anything from that. I think that's what I said. I think so. Yeah, if anybody's still watching the stream, I guess there was a big blip in it. I don't know who's still on here, but let's see here. Let's just see some of the comments that might still came up. Let's see. So everybody's still talking. All right. It did take me long. I don't. I'm gonna butcher her name. Canova. It did take me long. The biggest thing that I had a problem with was Texas, because let me see if I can't stop all this glare. There we go. The biggest thing I had a problem with was, for some reason, Texas didn't want to recognize the electronic title for the truck, but eventually I guess they decided to, take it. That was the only problem I had. Oh, you live in Ohio? Oh, that's probably a good state for them. I just look up Tyson DCs or whatnot near you, or facilities. Because mostly what you'll be doing is you'll run down south, you'll pick up the product, and you'll be going to a Tyson DC and dropping it off. And then maybe from a DC you might go to like a Walmart, big box stores, things like that. Let's see, Chase. I'm beating whatever road you do. Go down next, you will make it work. Oh, I'm betting. Yeah, I'm betting whatever road you go down, you're gonna make it work. Seen you knock down time after time again, and still pushing forward with your drive, spirit, and smarts. You succeed. Well, I am Polish. I don't know about smarts, but Cash. Let's see. I gotta step out for a minute. Email me if there's anything I think I can help you with. Hey, thank you, Cash. You guys are upstanding guys. You and F8. I'd like to say your names. I don't know what your name is, Cash. F8. I want to say it's Matt. I haven't heard his name in a while, but he reached out to me to help. But I'm not really stranded. I am mentally and decision why I'm stranded. But if I, like I said, I got a rental car. I'm gonna pick up tomorrow and go home and not freeze here. But I'll spend one more night here. But hey, good thing as I'm gonna burn some calories. Sitting in the cold, burn some calories. That's for sure. I could use it. Hey, what's up, TBT? DIY Semi. Hey, what's up? The one of the other legends are in the house, Mr. DIY Semi. Uh, everything is peachy there, Mr. DIY. Remember what you said? Didn't you say in that live feed? Don't jinx yourself. It comes to mind right now that I just saw you pop in here. About nothing. Hopefully nothing bad goes with the truck. I'm making good money, and things are looking on the up and up. Yeah. Well, my Polish ass jinked myself. So it is what it is. Yeah. For anybody that was watching earlier, that was Chuck that called. I guess because Jerome Jones turned him on to me, him to watch me. Like I said to him, I'm hoping I'm not like, I don't want to like make the company mad at me or anything, that I'm telling everything right. And like he said, the guy that he put me in touch with was more like it's a Lone Mountain thing. It pretty much works exactly like Lone Mountain. They want to make sure you have a down payment, put some skin in the game, and everything. And you have a half decent credit history and work history. So it's not like an actual bleach purchase through them. It's a Lone Mountain kind of thing. So that being said, he just wanted to make sure that, because I think I said that, I'm sure they get a kickback or something. No, they don't get a kickback or anything. It's, it's a Lone Mountain kind of thing. It's just for them to have guys with newer trucks, moving their freight, that they don't have to worry about breaking down all the time. But I told him, he even said, you got a shit end of the stick, it seems like. And I said, yeah, it's kind of what happened here. Unfortunately, light at the end of the tunnel could be a locomotive. Yeah. Let's see. HDOT. Don't throw the towel in, brother. No, I'm not going to throw the towel in. But like I said, it depends how much towel I want to throw in. Right now the towel's pretty crusty, and I think it's time to throw it out. No, I'm not gonna. I know what everyone's already freaking thinking, but no, I'm hanging in there. I'm not one of the person to really give up. I'm very stubborn, especially when I see that the other options. Like I said, I could go back to being a company driver. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't see any other option where I would have a bigger paddle than being an owner-operator. That being said, being a smart, business-minded owner-operator, not someone that just... Like if you go on YouTube right now, there's guys that just become lease operators with Prime and stuff I'm seeing, and they're calling themselves trucking CEO and CEO this, and yo man, look at my truck. We got the blue, we got the LED lights, and I'm trucker CEO, and I'm making mad money. That they're putting that out there, and people are seeing that and jumping onto that. And I didn't want to ever be like that, and I kind of almost don't want to get this. If this works out and I end up doing this, I kind of don't want to be like, yeah, look at my next gen T680. I'm CEO and stuff. I don't want to do that crap. But I guess if that's the way I go, I guess I'm going to show the truck off. I'd be stupid not to. I've showed this truck off, for gosh sakes, or at least showed it. I wouldn't say show it off, but it's did its job. Unfortunately, well, you know what? It's going to still do its job, because I'm not just going to let them take the truck. I'm going to probably try to pay the loan down still. I don't want to take that nip on my business credit. Because you start going down that road, you're never going to, that's kind of like business credits. Like once, and you do it once and you screw it up too bad, you ain't gonna get that chance ever again. Let's see, HDOT. As I told you a couple days ago, obstacles will happen and you will overcome them. Sometimes it's the setback that set it up. God is gonna do for you. Yeah, it is. It is. So did you throw the F8 towel? TVT. Let's see. HDOT, not trying to be smart, but go home, spend time with your family, and get through this Christmas. Heck, yeah, I know. It's what sucks. It happened right around Christmas. But you know what? I was going to run right up until New Year, Christmas Eve. And I could imagine if this would have happened later, like right before Christmas, like, man, that would have, like, and there probably would have been, the Enterprise place might have been closed and stuff. And like for you to get stuck out in a blown up truck, freezing your ass off on Christmas Eve, that might have maybe turned my tide. Because like I said, I'm not only fighting with myself, money wise and stuff, but like mentally wise, like what has trucking brought me? A lot of misery. I mean, it's good times, like you get trucking and you start going and things are good and you're listening to, I don't know, you're listening to, we'll just say country in general or a newer country song, or, I don't want to start throwing names out there because I'll probably butcher names up with songs and stuff. But, you're just cruising down the road, listening to something good. You're in a good mood. It's a nice warm day. You got the window down maybe. You cooking yourself a steak later on, and you're going through, like into Montana, like when I went through Montana, and you see like all the mountains and stuff, and you see the country, and there's nice parts of this country all over the place, like even like Western New York and stuff, like upstate and Pennsylvania too. There's a lot of nice places that you would never even think would be there. It's like a little bit of a rush. It's you get to see things you never thought you would ever see, and you're getting paid to do it. So it's not, truck is not really that. I mean, it can be bad. Like it does put stress on the family. My kids understand. Luckily, my wife kind of understands. She gets kind of put in a corner with the kids. Stress wise. But it's so far it's probably one of the best paying things I've done as being an owner operator than anything I could do without a degree. Like, I mean, I know how to weld. I'm not a super duper welder. I'm not gonna, it would take me a little bit of time to probably be able to weld like oil piping. I'm very mechanically sound. I mean, there's things I could get into. I just don't necessarily have the experience or what they want to see on a piece of paper. And a lot of them will still train you anyway. You got to get your foot in the door in a lot of places to make better money. And I just don't have that. I'm kind of like stuck. Obviously being an auto technician does not pay, especially with the newer vehicles, does not pay what it should. I was working on Jaguars. This was what, 2007, 2008? No, actually 2005. I was working on Jaguars, $180,000 XJ8 Portfolio editions and stuff, and I was, considered, at least on their scale, because I had the ASEs and some of the Jaguar certificates for training. They considered me a master tech then. I was doing $15 an hour flat rate, working on $100,000 cars. People were paying, $200 for an oil change for, $300 for an oil change for, and and I was, making $15 an hour, and then I had a huge Snap-on bill on top of it. I mean, I kind of went over to Cornwell's, but still I had Snap-on bill and everything else. So, like, I don't know. It would be hard for me to think about trying to get out of this, because at least I feel like it's easier. For the harder I work, the more dedication I put into something, usually the better the outcome money-wise, being an owner-operator, I would say. But then again, like I said, there's bad luck. It's about who you know to a lot. Let's see. TVT had some owner-operators have transitioned to FedEx, just saying. Yep. Oh, you mean got out and went to FedEx? Yeah. The only thing though, what would scare me about FedEx, and maybe even, no, it depends on UPS. But if you get UPS partial is really all that's left. They're very big, and they're big because they take up the uptick of when packaging and stuff, when seasons come around. So they get really big, and they work on cycles. and I would be scared with the UPS thing that if the economy continues the way it is and stuff, you might end up having people get fired from there or lose. Yeah, I don't know. If it gets that bad, it sucks. If I went back 10, 20 years ago and thought I'd be talking like this about economy and jobs and things like that and outlooks and stuff, and I would never think. And I sure as hell wouldn't have thought about it in 2016. Hell, I was basically a company driver in 2016, and I made like some of the best money I've ever made, like working for working at a place. It's not as much money as I made, so far as being an owner operator certain times and stuff, but it's more than I've ever made working. But like if you would, I would never be thinking I'd be talking like this. I never thought things would get so intertwined and mixed up like this that you would have to have like actual sit down thoughts with yourself. Is this gonna play out for me? Am I gonna be able to still support my family here in 5 years? Am I, things are gonna get that bad. Yeah, but enough about. Like I said, I don't want to try to get political or anything. Yes, you should get your DOT has to be within 30 days. Dak Nova, if you come to CRL or I think any of their other accounts, you have to have a pretty much kind of fresh DOT. And if Thanksgiving, like to get me rolling, I pretty much went to orientation. I went to orientation. I got the papers and everything, my fuel cards. They put the plate took a little bit, so I had a temporary registration for a little bit. But they try to get the plate to you if they can. You'll have the plate at orientation. You'll have your numbers, your stickers. They put the ELD in, and if you want to work the next day, or you could go work the next day. They'll dispatch you. Me, I had already things. Like Thanksgiving was right after orientation, and it just wasn't feasible for me to try to fit that all in and run through Thanksgiving and everything. So, let's see. Yes, Chuck is very well. Chuck. Yes. Well, you're better if you can text him. His phone blows up all day long because I've actually he was on his other phone. He gave him a call, and his other phone was just ringing constantly. Because the ads are up on Craigslist. They're on Indeed. There was like, I think they were giving out bonuses or something. I don't remember. But his phone just rings all day long because everybody's trying to get on debt. Because the way if you actually see the ad, look up Craigslist. I mean, if you want, you can go Craigslist Allentown and just write up Pottsville, and you just read the ad and see, why his phone's probably blown up. Because there's also, depending on the account and where you're at and where you're located, you can practically get home every day. No, I'm not guaranteeing it. They don't guarantee it, but if you end up asking and they can work around it, you might be able to get a somewhat local owner operator position where you go out, like 230 miles, you deliver at a Walmart DC, and you come back to you bring the empty back and you load up for the next day or whatever other load they got. So that's why his phone's blowing up. Because there was that possibility, and just because it's direct account and spot market, and they also take people with their authority. Like if I had my authority and I was doing bad, and stuff, I would be like, oh my gosh, I can keep my authority, still run dedicated freight. Maybe if if they're slow or whatever, or I need to do something else for somebody, I might, like an acquaintance or something, I can ask them like, hey, I have this broker I have a really good connection with. He's asking, can I go run? They'll let you go run it maybe. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but they didn't seem like they were too hard on you if you had your authority, that as long as what they needed to get done would get done, they were fine. You could keep your authority active. You won't have to let it lapse. That's a nice thing about, if you could do that and survive through this market and come back in the spot market and maybe make some better connections, or maybe you could even still stay with CRL. Maybe you could build a fleet off of it. I don't know. That's what I was starting to think maybe doing, because right now, like I said, with that dedicated, you have that ability to know that those loads are always going to be there. at least you have some certainty. And that's the problem right now with everything, with this whole economy. Certainty, knowing what's going to happen next, is the big thing right now. Uh, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, okay. There's Chuck won't answer. I've been calling. That note, yeah, he's hard to get hold of sometimes. Yeah, you're right, Jerome Jones. Surprised TBT hasn't blamed this on me. I did, DIY, on his last live. I probably missed it, TBT. WBF occurred. I mean concurred. I don't know what that means. What's the price of being a YouTube superstar? The price of being a YouTube superstar? Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, what do you let go on being a YouTube superstar? Or how much money I'm making? I'm making millions. I'm rolling in the dough. Now, oh, that's the price of being a YouTube superstar. Yeah. Sorry, TBT. All right, so that's what you're talking about. DIY YouTube superstar. Jerome Jones. That's what I'm trying to do, but it's getting difficult to get with Chuck. Oh, you mean, I guess, get a hold of him. Like I said, best thing you can do is text him, put your name, on the text, and he'll see the text and try to get back to you, because he said he ended up saying, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save your contacts, because he says apparently he's running out of contact room, as he said he's got to get rid of a bunch of contacts, but he saved my contact, so he knew it was me calling. That's how, because they only have him. He's the only guy that it's like I said, it's not like a technical recruiter, but he's the only guy that takes care of it. They don't have 12 other people they shoot you over. You have him and Penny that does the leasing paperwork and everything, and that's it. There's no giant room full of like 6 recruiters, some hot girl doing YouTube videos and stuff. There is none of that. So so it's just pretty much you got good old Chuck, and he's got one phone, I guess, and there 100,000 people trying to call him. Let's see. HT, hey, DIY has extra trucks you can drive for him. Yeah, I mean, if it really comes to that, I mean, I guess DIY, if he wants to offer that, that's fine. But I'm sure, he's not gonna, reach out to me or not. I mean, I'm sure if I really need it, I'm not coming on here to really ask for help. Like I said, I've already reached out to somebody else that's like 200 miles away from here, to see if maybe they would kind of want to do another, hey, guy's truck blew up, I'm going to help him out, buy some shirts and stuff. And, I already kind of did that. Maybe he thought what I wrote him was fake. I don't know. And maybe he just has too much going on. I mean, like I said, I don't expect help from anybody. And I don't want to like reach out to strangers, because really, to be honest, everyone technically here, you see me, you hear what I'm talking about, but technically we are strangers. I mean, I if I had time and I was in certain places, like I tried to meet up with F8 and stuff, and the one time I was up in Minnesota, I tried to see maybe if I could get over to DIY, at least say hi to him, have a cup of coffee or maybe a beer, I don't know. But we're all strangers, so I'm not gonna come on here and be like, oh, please donate me money and please help me out and stuff. I mean, shit happens, it's just the way it is. I mean, it'd be great if there was some kind of like I'm trying to think. You know how counties have like what do they call them? Like financial. Oh, I remember I had to deal with one when I was getting my auto shop together. Chamber of Commerce. Counties have chambers of commerce. It'd be kind of nice if maybe the trucking industry had some kind of like chamber of commerce that, if you actually, maybe not to get you right off the ground, but at least maybe to like help you out with, if you're starting a fleet or you have like disaster like this hit, maybe like an insurance policy or something, like a business insurance policy. But I mean, that would all be, that would all depend on things, because like when I was talking to Chuck, when he called me here a little bit, was, they used to help out a lot more. Like they would put insurance on your truck, and if you wanted to drive out there and or to get away, if you were leaving your carrier, or you had to go home first and then come, they would put insurance on your truck and stuff. And the problem was, people took advantage of it. They would do that. Next thing you know, the guy's hauling trailers and stuff, and trying to run his like own authority off of CRL and stuff like that. So and they used to help out, he says, with other things too, and people took advantage of that. Like they probably would have helped me out, to be honest with you, but somebody probably took advantage of that and didn't pay them back, or screwed them, or did something else, or took the money and said, yeah, I'm going to get the thing done and fixed, and just took off. So that's the big problem with helping people out. And I've had it happen personally, myself. I've bought cars for people, especially when I was my first marriage. She had a family member, and she was like, oh, please help out and stuff, and I bought a car, and guess what happened? I got stuck with the car. He had a CDL, and he somehow couldn't find a job. He got mad at a job because he was a larger guy, and the steering wheel was hurting his belly and stuff, and I don't know. It is what it is, and I got stuck with the car. Luckily, I was able to put it on eBay and sell it for pretty much what I owed on for it, because I co-signed for it and everything. And I said, never again I'll do that, and I haven't. And that's probably the same thing too. Like I said, I don't want to, like the person I asked, it's I don't want to put that burden on anybody else to have to decide whether or not they want to help somebody or not. Let's see. Dan, no, the average weight of these loads, I've never been over. I had one load, I think, was 40,000 pounds. To be honest, most of them are around 30-some thousand pounds. Like I said, and when I was thinking about that T680, I'm probably going to easily save, between the light loads and fuel, I'll probably save at least $500 a week in fuel. That's a conservative estimate, because I'll probably, like I said, my fuel mileage, best fuel mileage here, I could maybe, in the summertime, I could maybe have got like 6.4 out of this truck. Now with winter, even me babying the engine like I was maybe pushing 6, maybe. There's nothing too aerodynamic about this truck. The biggest thing is I don't have those roof flaring, so that probably didn't help me at all. That's one thing that does not help my fuel mileage. Now, when I was doing flatbed, I was getting I could get 7 miles a gallon doing flatbed, especially when I was going through like Midwest, through South Dakota and all that. I was getting like 7 miles a gallon during the summertime. But here in wintertime, nah, the only thing that's been benefiting me is the light loads, and that's probably the only reason I've been getting. If these were heavy loads and me pulling up through Pennsylvania or whatnot, or through through 81 here, some of the mountains, I probably would be down to like 5.8, 5, maybe 6. So I'm going to double my fuel mileage. I know that, if I decide to do the T680 thing. TBT, have you talked to Spectre to see what he has available? No, I have not talked to Spectre to see what he has available. As in, you mean job-wise or truck-wise, possibly? Pray to win the lottery. You know what's funny? When I came here that night and the truck was, and I was like, please God, just let me get the truck off the road and not have to get towed. And the trailer disconnected, let me be able to disconnect from the trailer so they can take their trailer, and I don't cause them any problems, because I don't want my name having to go through the dispatch office, and you don't want to be known as the guy that has to cause problems all the time. So I was sitting there, and I went in here, and the other day I went to go get something to eat, and I got I was going to get a half and half iced tea, hard iced tea, but apparently you can't drink it in there. You can buy it, but you can't drink it in there. But you can drink it out in your truck. You can drink alcohol out here, they said, on their property, but you can't drink it inside on their property. So I didn't do that because I'm not gonna sit here and drink it. That's all I need is some, bull crap. I don't know. Because in fact, a couple times today there were just cops parking, getting food and doing stuff. That's all I need is bull crap like that, to go down. But basically, what what I was saying is, I was trying to get food and pay and stuff, and I saw that there was lottery tickets, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like thinking like, well, I do have like $200 in toll money in my in my pocket here. Maybe I'll just say screw it, buy $200 in lottery tickets, and maybe I'll win. Because to be honest, that's just the way I'm going at it right now. But I didn't. I didn't. So, um, and by the way, don't try to rob me. It ain't gonna go over real well if you think you're gonna rob $200 off me. I have nothing to live for. No, I'm kidding. No, not that bad. DataQ, Comdata Pay is an app or physical check. Oh, you're talking about you get an app. You get an app, and then you just give them your check, and they'll put it in for direct deposit, and then it gets direct deposit. But you got to go into Comdata and switch it over to your direct deposit. That's all in the app. I wish they had the other app too. I don't know. Maybe I'll say something to Chuck because since I've been having problems with Comdata. Well, not now, but before. Because technically you can get a Comdata check authorized through their other app, their On Roads app, or let me see what it's called here. Because the Comdata check, the Comdata card they give you, is an on-road card. If you leave the money on it, I think it works like a normal debit card because it does have the MasterCard, circles on it, and it does have a chip. So I think technically I could still use this, but I just transferred the stuff into my bank account anyway. Yeah, it does. It does on the back. It has the MasterCard hologram. So I'm thinking you could use this like a normal account if you wanted to, if you just left it on the card. But I don't know. I do it. All my stuff goes through Quicken, which I don't know. That thing, I haven't touched that in a while too. I probably got to approve a bunch of shit on there. Oh, it's just I haven't wanted to look at. I haven't wanted to look at anything that involves seeing where my money went and stuff. I kind of just want to nah, because I don't know. It's just it just I get kind of stressed out with a crap like that. Anything else pop up? No. So yeah, that's where I am. Just sitting here, pondering. Like I said, tomorrow I'll get the rental car. It sucks too. I got like $200 worth of food in the refrigerator too, in the freezer. No, not $200, but like I don't know, $100, $120 or something. So I guess I'll take that with me. I don't want to like leave that in here and rot. Guess I'll take my bedding. Pretty much clean the truck out, I guess, as much as I can. I'm glad I'm not. If this was flatbed and this happened, I would have all my flatbed gear on the back of the truck. Oh God, I would really not want to leave it. I'm not really. I'm tired. I'm not really that in that bad of an area, but still, like I said, I've been seeing all kinds of bull crap happen. Eventually, like I said, they're taking tandems off trailers. They're jacking them up, blocking them, and stealing people's entire tandem off their trailers. So I don't, I'm sure just leaving my flatbed gear out here will be bad. Do you need a new DOT physical? As long as it's up to date, you don't need a new DOT physical. Mine was done pretty recently. I guess if it's almost ready to go out, you probably need a new DOT physical. But if I imagine if it's fairly new, you'll be all right. TBT, get direct deposit in our bank account, but we choose to get partial pay on our Comdata for our in the road purchases. Yeah, you can do it like that too. That way, what's be nice about that is if you do. Oh wow, I just got deja vu. I just got deja vu that this happened. Then I was doing a live feed. I'm like, why would I blow up my engine and be doing a live feed? That's a little weird. Anywho, yeah, that's really weird. because that I guess somehow that comment came up too, because I remember explaining about. Well, anyway, I'm not going to get into spiritual or weird things about deja vu or stuff like that. But anyway, the nice thing about if you do that, and let's say you just buy crap like food and stuff off of that card, um, you're going to get the $65 uh, the what do they call it? The $65 a day. Oh my God, I forgot what they call it. Off your for taxes. You're going to get your $65 a day per diem anyway. As long as you got your, you can keep track of that through your ELD. So it would be nice you just move a little money over to that card. You can do all those transactions of food or other things, and you don't have that popping up on your, if you're using your business account, because you think, hey, I'm on the road. This is a business expense. I'm still buying food for myself, business expense. I'm doing groceries, this business. But the problem is, when you get QuickBooks and you look at that, you got all those transactions you got to approve and categorize. And I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I have no idea what I'm doing with QuickBooks. It'd be great if, there was some kind of somebody that did it on trucking side that could explain it out to do that stuff and keep that stuff in order. But that's just the way I've been doing it, and I kind of like it because it's attached to the account. So everything you do, you don't necessarily have to keep track of each receipt and then manually enter it. It just it comes right out. But anywho, yeah, that is a good way to do that. TBT. That too. Yep. You know what? Actually, there TBT. When I was doing the utility poles, I went out to a project that was out in Atlantic City, right outside Atlantic City. And I wasn't actually in Atlantic City, but I was pretty close enough that it was Atlantic City. And I stayed at a hotel. And that's the only place I know, because as soon as I got done staying at the hotel, all of a sudden on my business account, I had all these charges for AT&T phone cards and gift cards and shit. I'm like, how the hell were they able to do it? So they must have either the restaurant I ate at over there or the hotel. Let's just say the people that were manning the hotel and stuff, and yeah, yeah. Anyway, just not to get off on that, but the I think that's their school telling me school's closed. But anyway, somebody somehow swiped the numbers and was using my business card. Luckily, my bank was really cool about it, and I said, hey, obviously I'm not buying phone cards and gift cards on a fucking business card. So, and they pretty much said, all right, we'll investigate it, but it's probably gonna come off, and they reimbursed me the money and everything, and I changed my card, and that was the end of that. Yep, someone skinned my card. Yep, you're absolutely right. Somebody skinned my card. And to be honest, if I mean, not say that I would do it, but if I saw that I was skimming a business card, I would probably be doing a little more than like $65 gift card and phone things. I'd probably, hey, it's a business card, like bam. Like I remember, this is back when I first started. I had a local job, and somehow this granite company was cool with just giving us their credit card. It was an AMX credit card, and one day I called, because I had to get authorization for a hotel, and I used them, and I got a hold of them, and I ended up somehow finding the prompt. I ended up knowing the balance of the card. The card was like a $30,000 balance, because I guess we also used this card, if we broke down and we're at a let's say like Kenworth or whatnot, they told us just swipe the card. So this card has a $30,000 balance, and they have us swiping it all over the place for hotels. But it is a credit card, so that's the nice thing about AMX is, if they find any fraud, they just, whatever. I guess they charge it off. I don't know what the hell they do with it, but yeah, that is the one nice thing about having a business credit card per se. You don't have to, if anything happens, it's fraudulent at all. You're kind of not on the hook for it. So I imagine that might be what they did for employees too. I don't know. Bigger transactions get flagged fast by issuing. Yeah, it would have to have been a really big transaction though, because when I first got the business card, I think I bought tires or something with it, and they flagged it. I said, hey, this is a business card. I do kind of, you can't just be flagging it for a couple $100 or $1,000. I said, I am going to use this card to pay for repairs on a vehicle and stuff. And I know they said, oh, okay, yeah, we'll change it. We're sorry about that. And I think they changed it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm going to. But there for a while, every time I did anything, it was half decent. Especially out of state or other states, they were flagging it left and right. And I'd be sitting there, I'd hold up the counter, I'd have to call. And, so I kind of told them, like, yeah, look, I have business in every state. I can't be doing this every time I make a decent sized transaction. Let's see. Oh, Sean Furman, how many miles on the motor when it got loose? I mean, I haven't had anything ever checked on this truck, but let's VIN wise, but 763,000 miles it let go. Like I said, I had plans probably, depending on the mileage wise. At least I was debating between 8 and maybe just doing it in a million miles, because I had people tell me that you don't have to roll bearings in anymore. But I was planning to do it probably either this summer or maybe next summer. Try to put a new oil pan on and new, also depending on what the clutch decide to do. But so far the clutch has been good. But maybe roll new bearings into this truck. But yeah, I guess it beat me to it. And like I said, I take oil samples. I got Blackstone oil sample thing right there. I had at least 5 or 6 oil samples in this truck, and none of them, showed problems. They're all pretty much within the limits of what a normal ISX with this mileage has on it. Maybe that's the problem. Normal limits. They don't come on parts for nothing. But like I told Chuck, he said, what would you be looking at to have this rebuilt? And I said I could probably kind of wing it myself if I really wanted to. I could buy a $2,000 kit. I could afford to do that, like a $2,000 or $3,000 kit. The problem is, it's a dual red cam, has all that extra gear train, all the special tools for the gear train and the timing and stuff. And I feel capable of doing it, but then again, I don't feel capable. For me to do all that and then F something up, I would lose it. So, if this was an N14, I'd probably already have the heads off and the oil pan out of it right now. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Like an N14, God, I'd probably have the pan out of it already. I'd have the head off. Maybe I'd had to make a trip for a decent breaker bar. Yeah, that's that. Like I said, some of those older engines, like it was like a C, like a 3406, B or even a C or whatnot. They weren't dual red cam. They'd have all extra gear train. Just simpler stuff. Now I couldn't cut technically. I wouldn't be able to cut the counter bores and all that and check the heads, but I would at least been able to do something. I would feel a little more, good about it. I probably would bought a rebuild kit. I would have been ordering it right now if it was a N14, and I would probably be getting the truck home somehow and be doing it right there. You'd get to watch me freeze my ass off in the snowstorm right now. Maybe I could get it in the shop there. Maybe he'd let me in, but rebuild an N14 or something. But like I said, it's an ISX, and it's a whole different animal. Little over extra complicated enough that I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like this, an M14, I would feel comfortable, letting going over to Haggard's, and I forget their names over there, but going over to Haggard's and be like, here's a couple cases of beer. They could be shit drunk, and I would not think that anything would be wrong with this engine. They could be doing it blindfolded, and so that's the difference between me wanting to do a rebuild on it myself and whatnot. So yeah, it just is what it is. I've seen guys on YouTube do it, and so I guess their stuff hasn't blown up, but I don't have that much experience with diesel mechanics. I mean, the biggest thing, like I said, is the gear train and the special tools to pull off the gears and and all that stuff. So it just is what it is. I kind of don't want to say I don't feel capable of doing it, but then again, I kind of do. Like, it's just what it is. Sean, did it put a rod through the block? No. Here, watch this. Besides the beep in here, which actually. See? That's what it's doing. So obviously, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's spun a bearing. And you just have a piston pin, and not a piston pin, but I'm pretty sure that's what is going on in there. The rod, yeah, the rod bearing spun, and it's just rattling around the rod around the crank, and that's what I got to knock from. So, but I still have oil pressure, so somehow. Actually, to be honest, it starts up now with more oil pressure than it ever had. But most of these come and sit right around, at idle about 20 psi. But it'll start up at like 40, 50 psi, and then gradually sit around like 30. It has, it still has good oil pressure. Last night there was a few times where the oil it dropped down just below 20, and then I guess it turned the low oil pressure light on and shut the truck off on me once or twice. But yeah, I'm kind of glad it still runs, because it's gonna make, if I can get over here to my buddy's RGN, it'll make that so much easier, just to drive it up onto the RGN. So definitely, I'm not going to try to drive it home. But to be honest, when that starts knocking like that, usually you're going to need a crank anyway. There's no, unless you literally it shuts off as soon as it happens. That crank's going to be marred up. So just from it having to idle down the hill and stuff, I know that crank's not going to be good. There's no way it's going to need a new crank. Maybe it could be machined, and then you got to start, oversized. You're gonna have to put oversized bearings in and calculate all that out and everything. It's just easier to throw another crank in there, even a used crank. Worst comes to worst. And then you got to get the engine balanced. It's just But I'm guessing you guys heard that. Yeah, you're right. It could be a blown piston, but I don't know how it would be very odd for a piston blow, because the truck's, this ain't no high horsepower truck. It's like 400 horsepower. I did notice blow by, because when I had my last stop, I did notice blow by jumped up a little bit when I got fuel the other day. It was the blow by just before. When I got fuel, just before this kind of happened, like 2 hours after I got fuel, I was sitting there, and what was I? And I was like, man, it's done it to me before too. It's gone sometimes where it has a lot of blow by and it don't, and I don't know. When I bought it had none, but then again, it was like 100 degrees, and you probably could barely see it. But yeah, the blow by I'm pretty sure did go up, at least right before it blew up. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is a piston. But it didn't explode. There wasn't no loud, it didn't, I got up to the crest of I was coming up the hill. This, I think I was 55 mile an hour in 10th, because this thing's, the transmission's I have a direct 10. It's really low, really high gears. So I was probably doing about 1200 or 1300 RPM. And I noticed, how Cummins has that deep rumble, when it's working. Sometimes you think it's knocking and stuff. It just had that. That deep rumble got louder, and I had no problem with pressure, but it didn't sound bad, like it was blowing up. And then I just to the top of the crest of the hill, I started hearing, and I'm like, whoa! And I let off of it, and I was like, first thing I thought was don't tell me one of my new injectors decided to take a shit already. And I get over the hill and I go to get on it again. And I hear it again, and I'm like, I look over, I'm like, oil pressure's still good. I'm like, what the? So I pulled over and I listened to it. I'm like, oh, it spun a bearing. And then I shut it off and it didn't want to start. It was hard starting. And then, it sat there for a little bit, and I rolled it backwards down the hill one or twice, and then tried to start it again and fired up. and then I was hearing it, and I'm like, yeah, it spun a bearing. So then I was only about 3 miles from this truck stop downhill, so I kind of let it idle down the hill as much as I could, and then maybe the last mile I kind of had to give it the beans a little bit to get into the truck stop. But that's what happened with that. The reason I asked is that I had a motor with a million and a half miles do something that made me thought it was roasted, and it wasn't. Surprised 1.5 million, and it turned out to be a relatively simple repair. I ran that engine to a little over 2 million and the cam went. I basically just kept running it to see how far it would go. Yeah, no, it's if you listen to it, yeah, it's there's something. I'm surprised, knowing that it's a Cummins. I'm surprised it pulled the 35,000 pound load up the hill down. I'm surprised it doesn't just explode. I really am. I'm amazed, that it's holding up as good as it is, doing what it just did. So, yeah, like I said, when I did the first time, I thought this engine was blowing up. It was actually the injector. Like I said, the spring broke on the injector, and it was hammering. And I drove that from Ohio back to here, and I had an oil sample done after that too, because I had the oil changed right after that, and they didn't see anything bad too. I was thinking when I was sitting here, I was like, oh, maybe when that injector went bad, maybe metal got in the engine or something. Anything could happen. But no, that I guess, I don't know, just probably old age, old bearings. I probably lugged the engine maybe a little too much, because like I said, I've been babying this thing, and you can't. Cummins, I know they don't like being lugged, especially these older motors, but the gearing on this truck is so far spaced out that if you don't take a gear all the way down and then shift, like, there's just there's no balls, there's no beans to it. The gear ratio is so out of whack. This truck was, maybe that might be the problem. Maybe the engine, because I know one thing. This engine has to work double time because of the direct 10 and the such low. Like I said, I only have 264 gears in it. So anytime you're, pushing this engine, you're pushing the engine. You're not helping it with a gear ratio or anything. It's all engine power pulling this thing. Maybe that's just, it had a tougher life. Maybe I don't, that might be it too. Lower RPMs, lugging engines. That's hard on mains and rod bearings. Holy shit. Have you talked to Sterling? He's a diesel mechanic. Sean Furman. Sounds like a spun a bearing. Yep, that's exactly what I said, because I've heard spun bearings in tons of cars before. And like I said, it was a car. I mean, I've actually replaced bearings with the engine knocking like that, and I've had cleaned up the main or the rod bearing with what do they call that? The cloth, the terry cloth. But it's like a sandpaper cloth. I've cleaned. They weren't pretty. They still had a little nicks in them and stuff. But I mean, I've put bearings in some engines, car engines and stuff, and I mean, I don't know about now, but I mean, they ran fine for another couple years easily. Before they really got rid of them, or who knows what happened to them. So. I mean, maybe the crank's still good, and even with all that banging around it, maybe if I put like 2 or 3 gallons of Lucas in this thing, maybe I'll be good to go. Maybe I can haul a few more loads. Put drain all the oil out and fill it up with complete Lucas. Let's see, Truck Pot Nate. I'm sure my engine was ruined. Sure of it. $2,500 later. I was back on the road and ran it another 500,000. Oh, so you might have had some bearings rolled in your. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I wish those were the days you could get away with $2,500 like that. You go back, like if you right now, if you go in the average price of a rebuild, it looks like if you go back 10, 15, 20 years ago, you could get an in-frame done for $10,000. I was even seeing people talk about the ISX 870s and 5 whatever it was, the non-emissions ISX, um, and people were getting rebuilds done for like $12,000-15,000. Um, those days are kind of gone. I mean, I could probably, if I call around, I could find someone probably to do a rebuild. Um, Maybe within the $15,000 to $20,000 range. But you ain't taking this truck to Cummins and having it done. Cummins, you're going to have like 30 grand. And then even then, if you're doing that, you got to check the cams, and I don't know how good they are and whatnot. There's other things that might pop up, and you'd be stupid not to replace it while you had the motor open like that. That's just, because I was even thinking about, if this hits 1,000,000 miles, and 1,000,000 miles, I was thinking about maybe trying it or having somebody come over and help me and do an in-frame on this thing. And I was like, should I save the pistons? I was thinking about, if I would do that, would I keep the pistons? Would I, just enough to get it to run, because this ain't no classic 379 Pete where, I could just run it forever and people are still going to value it and like it and stuff. This is a 9400. This truck was made to be easy and cheap, dinky dink stuff to put together and fix and keep on the road and keep going. Am I going to try to pour, am I going to make it a show truck? No. Am I going to try to pour brand new forged pistons and stuff into it? No. So, that's the way I was going with that when I was thinking about. I figured this would hit. I really did. I thought I was going to at least easily hit 1,000,000 miles with this truck, but shit happens. And what sucks is, it does have EGR, but the EGR is disabled right now. There is no soot at all getting into this engine. Like even now, if I pulled it, well, I don't know about now, but before this happened, I even checked, I check the oil a lot of times when I pull over. If I pull the oil in the dipstick tube, even though this probably got at least 10 or 12, 15,000 miles out on the oil, the oil probably, it still looks like nice goldish oil. Like it still looks good. I can't say that for other trucks that I've had, newer trucks. And right after you do an oil change, you drive around for a while, it's like black tar. It just looks black because all the soot that's floating around inside the engine. Did you use friction eliminator? You know what? It was funny. I was thinking, I think I talked to DIY the one time about that friction eliminator. Yeah. Have them. Here you go. I'll do something. I'll have DIY get a hold of them. Send me a couple cases. I'll drain the oil out. I'll fill the truck up with friction eliminator and all that, and we'll see if I can't drive it home. It'll be like like an infomercial commercial for them. If I can see, our stuff's so good, even a rod knocking engine, it'll make it 400 miles. That would be pretty funny. Yeah, but no friction eliminator. The only thing, a couple times I had shitty Love's oil because we couldn't get any decent oil at Speedco's. I think, actually, to be honest, the oil that's in this right now, I think is generic. It's Phillips 66 generic oil because I had the last oil change done at the shop, at the last carrier I was at. So it does have Fleet Guard. I've always used Fleet Guard filters on it, but the oil, I've been trying to keep either Mobile Delvac or Vittel in it, but it was kind of hit and miss there for a while. It was either you put oil in it or you didn't have too many options. But man, I don't know. Maybe the Phillips 66 oil wasn't the best oil to put in this thing. I don't know. But I always do. I put Lucas in it. I put Lucas in it after they did the oil change. I mean, so at least it's thicker. I mean, I don't know if Lucas really does anything. I figured maybe the Molly in it is at least better for it. It does have friction kind of fighting stuff, but I just figured it's better than nothing. I figured if anything, it thickened the oil up a little bit. And the way I see it, if you got small tolerances and you got thick oil, it might it's harder to squeeze, and you might not have the bearing to grab and spin and whatnot. That's just the way I always thought of it. Thicker oil would be better, and that's if you think about it. When I did back in my younger days, when I used to, have fun before I got married and all that stuff, I used to do a lot of drag strip stuff, and I would run thicker. I would usually run 1540 or sometimes 2050. A lot of the cars you buy right now, if they're have track mode and stuff, they tell you to if you're going to go on the track, change the oil. I'd get rid of that either 530 or that 520, that thinner oil, and put like 10W30 or in it or whatnot, or 1040. They tell you to run a thicker oil, just because the thinning out from the extra heat and stress on the engine. So, yeah. Anyway, that's not. I'm not claiming to be no no freaking scientist when it comes to like thermodynamics of oil and everything. Um, let's see, Cash. I've been running that Love's oil for a couple years now. It's manufactured by Shell, and it meets. Yeah, like I said, all the oil meets the same requirements. Because they'd be getting sued left and right, and a lot of these, like you're right, Cash. A lot of these oils, I know specifically that I don't know if it's still true, but it used to be that power Super Tech oil from Walmart. It's manufactured. I forget the name of the company, but they're actually out of Oil City, Pennsylvania, and they also do stuff for mobile. So you you're probably it's just like everything else out here. It's just like how Tyson owns like what is that? What does Tyson own here? They own Hatfield and all that stuff. It's the same thing with the oil world and all that. It's all branding and commercialization. It's all made in the same. You can't have 20 billion factories. Those were the old days, but when they actually wanted to keep people employed and it wasn't the name of the game wasn't to sell your family's business out from under them so you can go, well, back in the 80s, snort coke or whatever. uh, but that's what happened. Let's see, Sean. Yep, Cash runs Loves. I'm being serious. Before you totally restructure your life, I'd want to be sure that that's what's wrong with the motor. Positively sure. I blame it on Lucas. I don't blame it. I don't believe in Lucas. If anyone says Seafoam, I will slap them. Um, Seafoam. So I ran a lot of carbureted stuff when I was younger. I've seen Seafoam clean the shit out of like really clean up like valves and heads and stuff. But I don't think I would. I don't think I'd put it in a truck. I mean, what do maybe a newer truck, maybe carbon deposits. But then again, if you get carbon, if you get chunks of carbon deposits down in your liners and start scratching up your liners, it's no good too. That's I've seen the inside of liners on these because when I did the if you look back at my other videos, when I did the actual injectors, I took a oscilloscope and I went down, and you can see the nice hatching on the inside of the cylinders. So that too, I was kind of wondering why it had so much blow. But maybe I had carbon stuck stuck into the valve, not the valve, the piston ring seats and something. I don't know. Maybe that might be going on. But I mean, all the cylinders had good hashing in them. None of them looked scorn or anything. So I don't know. That's also one reason why I thought I probably wouldn't have to do an in-frame at least to 1,000,000 miles. Because like I said, I actually saw inside the engine at least the cylinders with the oscilloscope, and the pistons looked fairly clean and good too. So it's just shit happens. That's all. I was absolutely positive my motor had thrown a rod, wouldn't even pull itself across the parking lot. Sounded worse than yours turned out to be. Hmm. Yeah, I don't. See, though, I did have low oil pressure light did come on, so that's the only reason why I'm thinking it might still be internal. I mean, it probably is internal. Um, do I think just rolling in a set of bearings is going to save it? I don't know. I've had a few times. There are a few times I rolled bearings in, and things were okay. The most recent thing I ever done, I rolled bearings into it after it was knocking. I put oversight. I even did I did the crush test with the crushed oh god, the feeler gauge. Oh my, it's been a long, like this, you start forgetting names and stuff. I mean, I can picture it, I can tell you if I had to buy it, I could get it from Napa. But the bearing crush gauge, the last time I rode bearings into it was a 4-liter straight six Jeep. I ended up having to go 2,000s over. Or not, no, I mean, yeah, 2,000s over on the bearings. Or, no, I mean, 200s over on the bearings. And I think it lasted for the guy, because that crank was kind of oblonged a little bit. And I tried cleaning up the best I could for him. But I said, you either have to take this and get machined, or, we're going to try that. I think it ended up lasting maybe another 6 months for him before it spun the bearing again. If that, it may have been 4 months, but it didn't last very long. So I mean, like I said, I could throw bearings in it, but I mean, I don't want to. Next time I'll be in Maine when it's negative 20 out or 10 out. That's that's the big problem with that. And I also don't want to just take it and throw money at it to have someone charge me $1,000 and tell me that, yeah, it's a rod knock. Oh yeah, thanks, I knew that, but can you do something with it? Nope, needs a rebuild. So I don't know. I mean, $1,000 at this point is meaningless to throw at something. Like I said, right now it's more of a mental thing for me. Like I said, that was a mental thing for me, not just going down there and spending what, blew maybe what, $300 for a hotel. Like even tonight, I'll probably just sleep in the truck. It's a mental thing. To me, it makes me feel stronger that I'm freezing my ass off and know that maybe I shouldn't make decisions the way I made decisions. Maybe not buy an old truck. I don't know. Uh, I have that old 1950s grit mentality to everything. My dad's older. He was born in 42. So I was the oops baby. And I just got raised to, deal with bullshit, I guess you want to say. So, um, if I really didn't think it, I probably, if I thought it was, like I said, I thought this thing was blowing up before when it was the injector. Who would have thought the injector spring would break and it was hammering like that? Like I said, if you go back, but maybe when I get it back home, if I can get my buddy's lowboy out, I'll pull the oil pan off. At least it'll make good content. You'll be able to see the carnage. And to be honest, if I pull it home, maybe I'll pull the engine out. Where I'm at, like I said, if I can keep it, if it's okay with where I've parked the truck before, like I said, I kind of got access to a shop. I kind of got access to a high lift JLG. A telehandler. Whew. A telehandler. So maybe I'll pull the hood off, and if he's okay with it, maybe I'll pull the engine out. And, at least that's half the job. I'll be able to see what the clutch looks like too. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe with some content, maybe I'll end up, like even with that, the way I see it, if I get that T680, if I decide to, I guess maybe, I don't know. I'll come to terms tonight whether or not I'm going to fill out that application or whatever. But if I get that T680, the way I see it, I'll be saving a little bit of money. I'm going to spend a little bit. I'd imagine I'll still be able to do the $4,500 or the $4,000 or more, because I guess I'll ask them if I can run harder, and I'll still have the extra fuel savings, and yeah, you know, it might work out. I might still be able to pay this truck off. Like I said, I have 15 payments to do on it. They're okay with working with me with the payments as long as I'm paying them something. And maybe I'll keep it for a backup truck. Maybe I'll, like I said, I can get a used engine for it for $7,500. It has brand new bearings rolled in it. They pull the motor apart. You know, they do look at stuff. You know, they don't pull the head gasket apart and shit like that. Oh, maybe they do. No, maybe not. I think they only pull the bottom off and look at stuff. They do. The ones with the warranty, which most all the engines they got usually have a little bit of warranty. They do pull the injectors out. They check the injectors. They do oscilloscope inside the heads. I mean, inside the engine block. So, you know, maybe I'll throw a $7,500 to a $10,000 used motor in this thing. Depending, it might take me a year, but maybe I'll get to it, and you know, maybe I'll put it back to work. So. Now, if I end up doing that, I imagine I'm going to be one having to drive this because I don't know. Like I said, I got the one buddy I know who probably would come back to work for me again because I paid him, you know, well and treated him better than I guess he's been treated before over there. You know, at least where he's been working in that area. I paid him by the hour. I gave him overtime after 10 hours. You know, he was happy as shit to work for me. You know, he likes older trucks like this, so maybe he would run it for me. I don't know. He's an older fellow too. He's just doing it to stay, you know, kind of stay local and you know, he don't want to put up bullshit anymore. I guess he don't want to put up with the big mega carrier bullshit. So I don't know. Maybe that's an idea. Like I said, I'm just spatting off shit to try to keep good content, at least for the 10 people that are still watching this flaming shithole go downhill. I guess. I'll make you uncomfortable. You should get a hold of Diesel Brothers. Is that what you said, Diesel Brothers? I highly doubt Diesel Brothers is gonna. Why? Because I got the hat and I went. Why would Diesel Brothers? You know, they're beyond YouTube. I don't know why they would even fathom. You know, I'm sure it makes some good content for them, but like I said, I already reached out to. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I already reached out to somebody here. If you watch trucking, I already reached out to somebody in Tennessee, and I am them on Facebook and kind of wrote a whole thing. Like I said, it probably sounds fake and crappy, but you know, like I said, that's not their responsibility to help people. But I just screw it. Maybe he'll want to do some more content like that because he did already rebuild a scam truck, you know, so. You know, don't. Maybe if you really know the guy, sure, maybe say something to him. But don't. If you know who I'm talking about, don't go out there and be like, oh, you know, if you don't actually know him playing personally or whatnot, and you're on here, or, you know, I'm not. Oh God. I'm not trying to get into YouTube drama. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, and I'm not trying to ask for handouts. Like I said, anytime I've ever actually gave handouts to people and helped people out, I've always got screwed. So that's why I probably wouldn't ask anybody for a handout too. Because you know what? As soon as somebody would probably help me out, the economy will collapse and I won't be able to pay them. I don't know, something like that. So it's I don't know. It's very hard for my character to do something like that. Like I just said, my dad was born in '42. I was raised totally different than most millennials because I was born in '86. So technically, I am a millennial. But yeah, you know, I don't see pressuring anybody into helping me yeah, it's just not who I am. Let's see, Sean. So how far you are from home? About 400 miles exactly from home. You know, not too bad. Let's see, Sean. I definitely keep that truck and rebuild it next year after you go. That's kind of the plan I'm kind of getting into. Like I know Wheelburner was in here and said don't do it. I'm kind of at the point that, like, what is it really going to matter? I'm going to lose this truck anyway if I don't do something. So my credit's going to be ruined anyway. It's probably even going to be worse. Because at least if the T680, if I can't pay on that, I know they'll want the truck back, but they're going to make out in the truck. They're not going to get screwed, and they probably won't really go after me because they usually don't. Lone Mountain, I've heard people, that have hit shit bricks like near the end of their lease, like with Lone Mountain, like with this, and Lone Mountain's like, hey, try to pay us something or whatever, and they don't screw their business credit up. I don't know if that's still the case, but I've heard stories and seen stuff, and they kind of work like that. Like I personally talked to the guy, and I it ain't like the 680 is gonna blow up. It's got super extended PACCAR warranty on it, and PACCAR is trying to warranty their shit so much because they have so much bad publicity going on. I know they had, what was it, 2 years ago? They had a problem with their heads. The cams were snapping in half, and all kinds of goofy stuff. So PACCAR is trying to get that, stop a sink and ship. So all those extended warranties, are good for the engine. I think it's 5 years, 500,000 miles. Like I said, the transmission was 7 years, because it has the 12-speed ultra PACCAR shift thing in it. I don't know what they call it. So that was my plan, to just try to keep both trucks going and everything. Well, not keep that truck going, and then eventually fix, put a motor in this one and get it roadworthy again. Well, I mean, it'll be roadworthy, but you're in a frustrating place. Yeah, TBT. I'm in take time, reflect, and focus on the solutions you feel comfortable making. People make poor decisions when things are lower than normal. Yeah, that's true. You're right about that, TBT. Yeah, that's, like I said, the first solution, before I even thought about that, I had the little birdie said, yeah, look at this T6080, come take a look at pictures. And I was like, oh, and you look at it, you're like, yeah, brand new truck, sounds cool and everything. But, I'm like, do I really want to, the thing that bothers me is, like with this truck, I've taken weeks off, I've taken days off. It's what, like just about a $900 payment. Woo, you make that up in a quarter of a week, if that. With that other truck, I know they said that, I could call up and defer and I mean, do stuff, maybe take, if I want to take a week off, I can do that, but still, that's still $1,000 a week that I have to devote to that. This I can go to the beach for a week. It's no big deal. But like I said, especially if I was thinking about doing this with a different company, like I said, I'm on mileage pay, so I don't have 20% coming out. I don't have, I'm pretty sure my truck insurance, like right now I'm paying $150, I guess I guess it's bobtail insurance. I'm paying $150 a month. The last company I was at, they were having me pay $150 a week, which I know I kind of was getting ripped off on that. So I'm pretty sure it was bobtail. I don't know. Maybe they're having me pay for something else too. They just rolled in an insurance payment, and that's what it is. So I mean, it's all your own. I'm not going to blame them for that. I mean, depends how much they weren't really ripping me off on everything else. So it is a business. People do deserve to make money if they're taking risks and doing stuff like that. I have no problem. As long as it isn't like blatantly like scumbaggery. But I don't have no costs. I mean, I would have fuel, and the biggest thing is if the truck broke down, but there's it's all warranted, and the biggest thing though is how long it's going to be broken down, and how well are they going to be understanding of that. Which, talking to the guy, Matt, he sounded, because I even said that I've dealt with PACCAR before. I was literally working to every other month put the PACCAR back in the shop, had the dealership try to fix it because that's the only people who could touch it because it was dealership only software. I believe PACCAR still is only, unless you have Davey, whatever, I forget what, Davey 4 or whatnot, or Davey 5. Unless you have Davey, you aren't really doing too much with PACCAR. You might be able to read the codes, because I tried to take it other places. They could read some of the codes, but when I had other problems with, like, they had an automatic transmission I had problems with, and they ended up being PACCAR codes, they couldn't really read the codes. When I had EGR problems, I couldn't really, just the generic codes I could read, but the stuff that would actually help them, they couldn't regen the engine. They couldn't do none of that. Um, so, like I said, I was literally, I'd work a month. Yeah, I'd make, I'd go to try to put some money away, and because like I said, I split my company up. I split it between personal expenses. I put my personal money over there, and I try to put the savings for, for the rainy day and the business side. And every time I turn around, I'd get some money in there, and I'd turn around and I'd have to hand it back out to Kenworth, or even better yet, I love the times when I would leave Kenworth, get about 100 miles down the road, and a freaking stop engine light would come on and shit, and I'd have to get towed back. And they try to be like, oh, and they try charging me to fix. I said, you guys are supposed to fix this. I said, I've already paid you. I said, it's been here a week. It's been here 2 weeks, and it's not fixed. And now you're asking me to pay for something else? I don't freaking think so. This was supposed to be fixed. Oh, well, maybe it's something else. Yeah. So just so happens 100 miles out, the same kind of same codes and same kind of part, with the emission system is bad. I said it would be different if this has only happened once. At the same dealership or whatnot. But I said, this has been multiple times. I said, I'm literally taking my income every couple months, or every other month, and handing it to you. So and I even tried other dealerships, and it's still they just don't. It was a 15/14. So it just the younger guys working on stuff, parts. I've been there. I've done stuff. I've put parts on stuff just to see if it works. But I've gone a little more in detail, like actually diagnosing, ohming pins out, and at least to get to that point, I don't just say, oh, I'll just throw a random part in, but I at least try to get it narrowed down to that when I've done stuff like in dealerships when I was a mechanic. But like I said, I don't know. I don't even remember what I'm talking about. I got off on a tangent by reading about, poor decisions, I guess. Let's see, Sean. So the 680 is from Lone. No, it's not from Lone Mountain, but they work like Lone Mountain. It's an actual loan. It's not something through the company. They have nothing to deal with it. I guess earlier, now what, hour ago, I guess Chuck actually called me to get back to me anyway, but he apparently, Jerome Jones, whatever. I'm not going to go off into that, try to explain, but no, they have nothing to do with them, but it's kind of like a Lone Mountain thing. I can take the truck somewhere else if I have to, but I don't know where I would take $1,000 a week truck payment to somebody else that would do better than I don't know. The other thing though, I could figure out. When I bought this truck, I knew when I was buying an older truck. I'm actually surprised CRL actually allowed this truck to come on. Pretty much their cutoff's 05. But a lot of places, if your truck is older than, I've been finding, what is it, like mega carriers and stuff, and other larger companies or people with direct freight, they're requiring the trucks to be like less than 5 years old. 5 years old. How many owner operators are just gonna randomly have a $200,000 5-year-old truck? And then there's a lot more when you get to 10, but still, like, holy crap, 10-year limit. Like, it's not like these trucks are coming off the assembly line like only being $100,000 anymore. These are, now you're talking about like, shit, you're talking about like quarter of a million now, some of these trucks. And I think they're still blown out. I think the new trucks are still blown out of proportion. But like I said, you don't know what Kenworth and Freightliner, you don't know what they're paying to get, the extra costs that they're paying to get that stuff. And yeah, maybe they are making a bigger problem. Maybe the whole big bug did allow them to suck more money off the middle class, or what, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to get into that. Maybe it did transfer wealth, who knows. But I'm sure if costs went up for us, they went up for a lot of other people. And maybe they could, and they just don't. That's just what they decided to price the trucks out at, and I guess that's what they were getting. So yeah, so $500,000 is your normal cost for a truck. Let's see, TBT, wish you much luck and hope things turn out for you. Thanks, TBT. It's greatly appreciated. Um, Yo, with both feet's in here. What's up, both feet? Uh, what did DIY or big toe break now? Hey, what's up? Will Burner's back. Uh, no, it's still the same old stuff, Will Burner. We're still just, I guess we're just hanging in there with it. Usually I don't keep live feeds this entertaining, I guess. But it's actually still up here to 15. Uh, Sir Hulkula, aka DIY, aka Big Toe, broke jackknife ball bearings or something like that. Wheel burner. These new trucks only have a shelf life of 8 years. After that, they're boat anchors. Yeah, they don't build them like they used to. But you know what? Even I had a I ended up for a little bit there before I even bought this truck. I didn't make YouTube video about it, but I bought a barn find 377 Peterbilt. It was a 1990 that the engine was rebuilt on. The son and father were on a farm, and I guess they kind of were going through the truck for him, and he lost interest or didn't want to do it, and it kind of got left at the guy that sprayed the frame, sandblasted the frame, and painted it and everything, and painted the truck. And the problem I got with that, I bought it for $13,000 cash. And, I was like, yeah, it's like practically a 379P. It had a 13 speed, had a 3406B, man, that thing screamed. But I ended up having to start getting into it. The dome lights were messed up. I started getting into it and discovered it like, hey, this is going to be a lot bigger project than I thought. I mean, the engine was sound, the transmission was good. The tires were brand new when they put them on. These were brand new freaking Michelins, but they were dry rotted. Brand freaking new Michelins, and they're dry rotted, and it had Bud wheels. I started sinking money into it. Thought I could maybe at least get it roadworthy. That's what I was gonna do. At least get it roadworthy. I cleaned out all the rat piss and crap, and cleaned up the interior the best I could. I was gonna try to do it, and I sat there, thought, I said, if I got and this is when I almost had my own authority. Oh, well, I did error for a little bit. I was like, if I got this on the road, and DOT saw it, just sure, it looks pretty nice far away, but if they actually got in the truck and started looking around, they'd be like, holy shit, there's some old shit here, and they would probably dig into it. I'm sure they could have found something. I mean, the brakes were new on it, the drums were new, but it just sat, and like I said, it was a barn find. Maybe I'll throw a picture up here if I can find a picture here eventually. I'll throw it up in the community page, but it just they just felt tough. They felt tougher built, as long as they didn't rust, like rust the floors out or something. A lot of them are still aluminum. They just, I don't know, something about the older trucks, like this is all plastic. But to be honest, if I would have had this truck from day one, the beginning, the dashboard would probably still be good. That would have been fixed. It really, even with the newer trucks, it really depends on who maintains them, whether or not they just drive them to the ground. The big thing is, the one box. If you can keep the engine going good, actually change the oil, not do this freaking stupid 80,000 mile oil change interval bullshit that they're saying. I can't believe with them backfeeding all that soot into an engine, they're still recommending like 50 to 80,000 mile oil changes. I even hear that some of these manufacturers or even megas are doing 100,000 mile oil changes. I mean, sure, maybe if you're testing it, you can maybe get away with that, but I still can't see that that's good for them. You would hope by now with technology that they got the bearing clearances right, and they got engines balanced out super properly and things like that. But still, I think that everything that really ruins a newer truck, one is that some of the cheap, shitty plastic they use, like especially, and who they use for vendors. Like, look at International. I mean, I know I'm in one, but I mean, look at like newer, like the ProStar era. like I don't know who they were using for vendors, but man, whoever was managing ProStar, International back during the Pro Stars and stuff was a total. They just let it go. There was no accountability, I guess, within the company. Um, just the heater boxes had problems. Motors were breaking. Like they're like whoever because that too when these trucks get built, because I know this from cars and stuff. All this stuff isn't international. All this stuff isn't Kenworth. These are all vendor switches, Delco and vendor this and vendor that, and they contract out to these manufacturers, and they get a piece of the pie when they sell the vehicle or whatever. And just I guess if you don't keep on top of it or demand that they like, hey, we'll freaking find somebody else or something, they'll get away with swindling. Ain't our problem, ain't our warranty. We'll get away. We don't have to answer to anybody. Some of those newer trucks, like I said, the Pro Stars and stuff, and even probably the LTs, I don't know. It all depends who their vendors are and what happens with that, and whether or not you keep up with maintenance. For a newer truck, if I wanted to let's say I wanted to keep that T680 to 1,000,000 miles, I already know I probably would end up having to do a one box on it. Well, I don't know if they're one boxes, and I know they changed the way everybody's changed the way they do their SCR systems and all that stuff. But I know at 500,000 miles, probably it's time to yank it out and change it out to a new one box. At 250,000, it's time to pull the filter out and have it baked and everything. If you have the money to do that, you probably should do it right away and keep yourself off the road, because like I said, being broken down at dealerships you don't know and stuff, it's cost probably the amount of extra money it catches you, especially if you're going to like TAs and stuff. The amount of extra money you blow through with emissions shit like that, not nipping in the butt before it happens, is probably ridiculous. And like I said, you'll be somewhere where you don't have buddies or people to help you out, or a dealership that you're returning business and gives you a break or whatnot. Wow, I don't know. I'm going all over the place in this live feed. I don't know if I'm like actually helping anybody or what I'm doing here. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, it was me answering, talking to Will Burner. See TBT talking to Brandon. Will Burner talking TBT. I guess we had a bunch of porn pop up in here again. They must like my looks. Will Burner. It's no secret. By the bigger carriers roll their trucks over every 3 years. Yep. And you know what? If you look at most of the trucks that enter the market, they have 400,000 to 500,000 miles on them. They pretty much get rid of the truck when they trade the truck in, and they have so many trucks that they're able to, they're pretty much able to name their trade-in price per se, not precisely, and they never have to worry about all the extra issues. Now that being said, if you could get the right engine and the right you can also think a lot of the mega carriers have tons of greenhorns, but if you can get like the right people working for you, the right drivers and stuff, you could probably have a fleet of fairly oldish newer trucks, maybe the 800,000, maybe 1,000,000 miles. But the problem is costs of everything have went up so much. But even like you can put an in-frame in a 3406B, still dirt cheap, but I'd imagine an in-frame kit for a pack car is probably like, just the parts are probably $20,000. I'm just taking a guess, So that's the problem with that stuff. I don't think the prices on that stuff's ever going to go down. So, I would say, if you're just going to run the truck into the ground, yeah, you could probably, if you took care of it and did maintenance, you probably could run one of these newer trucks into the ground. I don't think there's going to be no rebuilding. If you're just doing a rebuild, you should replace sensors, everything. You're going to be doing a complete rebuild on the emission system and the engine. And by that point, you have a 10-year-old T680 with $60,000 of engine rebuild and emissions rebuild components you got in it. you probably, you're probably better off rolling them over like every 600,000 miles or 500,000, whenever the warranty out, on it, and getting that trade-in value. Um, and not having to deal with, not having your departments have to deal with guys breaking down all the time, and still dealing with that emission shit. Then again, I don't know. I don't. Well, time will tell what this new emission stuff is going to do. If it's better than what it used to be. I'm sure it's better than what it used to be, but time will tell. Especially with, who knows, with the big bug and people working differently and stuff. Maybe, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of assembly line problems and worker problems and quality issues. So I don't know. See, TBT, why are you blue and I'm gray? Blue and gray. Okay, I don't know what that means. Dano, thanks for all the information, Jackknife. Hopefully I can come over there. Okay, he's talking about coming over to see it. Yeah, no problem. Here, I don't know if I can do this right now. Here, let's see if I can click on. I don't know. I remember I gave out wrenches before. I forget how to do it offhand. I'll figure it out eventually. Let's see. Since TTL went to FedEx, go rent his truck from him. Hey, to be honest, if Sterling still had his Freightliner, I would rent his Freightliner from him for a little while, if he was okay with that. He'd have to put the top back on though. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, he got that sold a little while ago. I know, what was it? Velox. Velox got hit a home run and sold his Peterbilt. I wonder how he's going to change that up. What he's going to do with that? If he's going to go with like the most fuel efficient, maybe he'll go from a Peterbilt to a Volvo. I don't know. And that's going to be neat to see. TBT, let's see. Well, that's because I'm rubber and you're glue. What bounces off of me sticks to you. Wheel burner. Yeah, he's laughing. Let's see. TBT, I thought you knew that and was being sarcastic. Sean, I heard rebuilds for Detroit's are over 40,000. Really, for DD15s, they're over $40,000 for the rebuilds or for the kits. For the whole thing, 40. If it's the whole thing, no, probably not too bad. I know when I had, like, I'm not. This isn't new for me to have shit blow up on me, especially ISXs. I mean, I've had bad luck with trucks before. I had a what was that thing? A Freightliner Columbia day cab. I had the SCR system go out just under warranty. It was like 280,000 miles or something. And it was I ended up putting $15,000 into the SCR system from the redo it. It just wasn't making the catalyst efficiency wasn't able to keep up. That was the first time I ever had a big problem with a truck with emissions. Then the second time I took 20, here we go, 25 grand down. I put it down on a Cascadia with an ISX in it with 260,000 miles on it. The truck did not make it to 300,000. The ceramic plungers and the fuel pump went and ruined the motor. The dealership that I ended up having to tow to, because it was the closest place, basically said everything's ruined. The turbo, you need a whole new motor, and quoted me 60 grand. I called MCH up and I said, hey, what are we going to do here? I've only had the truck literally like 2 months, and hell, the paperwork and stuff is still in. Technically, didn't even go, like, because he had to call up Freightliner financing and stuff, and like the stuff wasn't even like fully in different spots of the company it was supposed to be and stuff. Like, they didn't have my information, they didn't know I had a loan. And pretty much what happened there is, I think MCH came, the original dealer. They picked the truck up. I lost my 25 grand deposit. Down payment, and they worked something out with Freightliner Financial, and they pretty much my loan just went away. And I got screwed on that one too. And with the warranty, it technically kind of still had a Cummins warranty, and it had an aftermarket warranty. The aftermarket warranty was shit. It's probably why I would never buy one. They basically said, hey, the fuel pump is considered an accessory item to the engine. We don't cover it. If it was like a piston that blew or something, we'd cover it. But it's an accessory item that ruined the engine, and we're not covering it. And then Cummins kind of did the same thing to me. They said with what you have left on your warranty, it's not covered under what we normally consider, I guess, whatever was left of the warranty or that part of the warranty or whatnot. So yeah, like I said, I'm not new to bad luck, I guess you could say, or bullshit like that. So, I mean, that's probably why I'm just like whatever by now. I've had a lot of bad experiences in trucking, and I'm still here. So, it is what it is. Let's see, TBT USA. This just in. What do you mean this just in? What happened here? If I click on it, I'm going to disappear. TBT, okay, I have to get some sleep. Oh, yeah, shit. Don't watch me, TBT. I'm nobody. Go to sleep. I have to drive in a few hours. Good luck. Hope things turn around in a good way. Everyone have a good night. Hey, you too, TBT. Have a good night. Yeah, Wilbur is saying good night, TBT. What time is it anyway? I know. Oh, it's only 7. 7:12 or whatever. Oh yeah, that too. Shit. I guess I better take that. Oh, I better take that GPS with me because they'll smash my windows to get a freaking Garmin GPS. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of. I guess. I don't know. I don't have nothing else better to do. I'll keep going. If anybody wants any of my pent up knowledge and hear about my triumphs and disasters, I guess, in trucking. I'm just sitting here bullshitting right now. That's really what I'm doing. I highly doubt anybody's going to go through 3 hours of live feed to get information on whether or not they're gonna what they should do or shouldn't do if they're buying a truck. So I'm just bullshitting with you guys right now. What's there, like 9 guys left in here? Yeah, I guess I'm going to get off here because I imagine somebody's going to go live, either Cash or DOI or somebody. And, I don't want to take their thunder or whatnot, and I don't want to bother anybody because, like I said, I'm not the best guy here. I've got myself in this predicament stupidly, because like I said, I knew I should have left the spot market earlier. I knew I should have looked for a different company. I've dealt with that company before. I was with that company in 2018. That's when I had the Cascadia go bad on me, and they did a lot to help me out. They were even willing to try to get the truck back to Chicago and maybe see if they could do work something out and put an engine in it. But it was just I had payments and stuff. There was just so much. I got disgusted. That's what happened with that, or I probably would have tried doing that. So I ended up staying at AFC pretty long, and I probably should have left there earlier and did something like this and got into this dedicated account, or at least looked for it. So just timing was not on my side, and I got myself into a hole, and just things didn't go or move fast enough than I thought than they should have. I don't think it should have took 2 or 3 weeks for me to get an okay with Texas to get a plate put on here and stuff. But it just, when bad things happen, they don't expect things just to go right all of a sudden. When you're trying to fix something, it's you might get. It's just what happens. Little things turn into disasters when you already have a disaster going on. Little things you won't even know about. Whoopity-doo, it took 2 weeks to get a plate, or 3 weeks, whoopity-doo. Oh, it matters when you were doing shit on the spot market, and you're barely going to have a settlement, and you still got truck payments coming in and stuff, and you still got to drive the truck back and put $500 or $600 for fuel in it. Yeah, it starts mattering how long it's going to take for you to start making money again. Those things do count. So yeah, I guess keep that in mind. Like I said, I'm talking to a lot of I hardly doubt there's any greenhorns in here. You know what I mean? You guys are all what they call it. You guys all got the prestige. You're all veterans in here. So, uh, yeah. Everyone, let's see. Here we go. Delanova, we're here to watch your channel. Well, there ain't gonna be a lot of watching here for a little bit. I'll tell you that. Like I said, I don't like I knew when I transitioned over to Reefer, I was gonna have to change things. That's why I kind of did that blog, tried to and what I kind of noticed, I probably should have shut my mouth a little more doing that blog, or the vlogging thing. But yeah, like I'm just trying to like help guys out and make some decent content. That's all. Like I said, when I did this, I wanted to make sure that I didn't go over what I knew. I didn't like bullshit anybody, and that I just help little guys out, because I guess when did I first do a video? I think I first did a video when I was at Prime, and there wasn't anybody, at least back then, that did an actual, I guess, video of the whole entire training process. The oh god, I forget what they call it, the PPSs or oh god, I don't remember any of that crap. But anyway, I kind of went in depth about what you learned each day training and stuff. And people were like, oh, that's, I was looking for a video like this. Oh, thank you. I'm trying to think about, getting my CDL. And, and I just started helping people there for a little bit. And, but as soon as I left Prime, though, a lot of you, people will watch what they want to watch. People will listen to what they want to listen to sometimes. And sometimes that's not the best thing to do. Even I have a problem sometimes. If you're listening to, this one guy, oh, I'm making so much money, I'm doing this. You won't listen to a channel that's trying to give you actual, the yin and yang to the situation. You'll go to the channel that, sometimes when you make up your mind in your head, you'll search out the channel that basically gives you what you want to hear. And I know I didn't want to be that channel to give people what they wanted to hear. I wanted to be the kind of the middle ground between the yin and the yang, your decisions and stuff. And that's kind of what I was trying to, I don't know, like I said, I knew I wasn't going to become no YouTube trucking superstar, but I just kind of wanted to help people out generally. Oh, let's see. Delanova, you were able to run a temp tag for 3 weeks waiting for Texas. Yes, I did run a temp tag. Yeah, you'll be able to run a temp tag. The big problem I had before was even getting a temp tag, like I said, because Texas still had to authorize whether or not my electronic title was, I guess, valid. I don't know. I guess because it was very plain Jane looking, didn't have like Pennsylvania stamps and shit on it and everything. It just said electronic title. Here's the title number and stuff. So that's the only problem I had. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a hiccup for everybody. It just was a little, Polish luck. It was a little hiccup for me. So. It was just that bad timing that I had that hiccup. It kept me out of running like an extra 2 weeks or a week into, before, instead of having orientation on the Monday before Thanksgiving, I would have had orientation like a week or two before. So I would have been running those weeks. So, if the truck still decided to wait till now to blow up, I probably would be able to put a used engine in it. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. It all depends on what happened at home and whether or not maybe wife decided to buy something expensive. I don't know. L Elf, Greenhorn here. No experience, new CDL holder. What is the fastest and smartest path to owner operator? Have $75,000 saved to potentially buy the truck. Well, you picked a hell of a time to decide to do it. This is not the market to do it. I know you don't want to hear it. I already know. You think you're going to make really good money. You think, you might gross $4,000. I mean, maybe net for $3,000 a week or whatnot. Unless you know somebody that has direct shipments, like an actual warehouse or something, or you got friends or your cousin runs Cisco Foods or Walmart. It is not the time. One, equipment prices haven't come down all the way. So just the fact of that. Um, I would wait if you want to. Here's what I would say: if you really want to do it, wait until this market gets really bad. Yeah, and this is still up to you. I mean, it's still I still think it's a bad decision. Don't become an owner operator this year, or this year I mean 2023. Do not become an owner operator. Do not do it. Do not buy a truck. Now, if you would like, you might be able to. If you think you could take that $75,000, I would cut that in half, or maybe even less. If you think you can find a nice truck, it's in decent shape, and buy it cash, and I would wait until the market hits dirt bottom for truck pricing, because you could probably get a hell of a deal when all these repos start. Um, get a truck if you have it sit somewhere until you're done at least with a year doing company driver. Preferably, I would say 2 years. And now, are you trying to lease onto a carrier, or are you trying to go completely 100% authority? Um, you got a lot to catch up on then if you're going to go authority. If anything, here's what I would recommend for you. If you want to keep watching my stuff, I'm definitely not the be all tell all, but just look into DIY semi, look into, look into Cash is King, watch F8, even just look at Just Trucking right now. Look what he's doing. Look what he's built for himself over there in his YouTube channel. And look, he's having problems finding loads, and he's got his own authority. Don't, like I said, I know you're probably like, oh, it's not what I wanted to hear. If you like, to be honest, if you would have decided to do this 2 years ago, like just after the big bug hit and everything, oh man, you would have been rolling in dough. You would have probably paid that truck off. You would have, made that 70. If you would have bought a truck for 75 grand, you would have made that back in probably the first three or 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months. I don't know, something like that. But not now. Now is not the time for you to come in. I don't recommend anybody become an owner operator right now. This is not like 2019 after the gold rush of 2018. This is totally different. Fuel's still kind of high. It is coming down, but the economy is the biggest difference. Like everything's poised to be like a huge disaster right now, especially for trucking, because we'll be the first ones to get hit, because we're the tip of the spear on the economy. And I'm not, it's your money. You're allowed to do what you want to do. But look at the situation I'm in right now. I had $25,000, and I had at least a little bit of a good run there in the beginning, and shit still happens. You can still have bad luck, especially because you're still a greenhorn, and you don't have that like rock hard experience of seeing the emissions problems happen in a truck and being stuck somewhere as a company driver for a week, and stuff. So I hope I answered your question as truthfully as I can give it to you. Please, before you think about switching off or going somewhere else, before you go to that, if you were been here for a little bit, I was talking earlier to the guy that was like, I guess he lease purchased that Prime. He's like, yeah, I'm CEO. Blah blah blah. I lease purchased that Prime. Look at my cool truck. I'm gonna make money's pouring in. Look at I bought my necklace and stuff. Like, before you go watch that, and he's no CEO. That fucking I'm not. I'm an owner operator. Technically, maybe a business owner, just because the way I kind of do things. But I'm not really. I've had employees before under me. But I just think about it a little bit. Read some of the news articles, or especially on YouTube. Don't listen to real mainstream news. Just look and just see where things are going for everybody, and just think about it. This is the environment you want to try to push your way up through, because that you're grasping at straws, and there's just not the bundle or the bushel is very small right now. So eventually, you might run out. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I don't want to like hurt your dreams. But I would wait a year if I were you. Like I said, I would wait if prices drop like to like dead for truck pricing. That's when I would probably go and try to buy a truck and maybe still hold on to it. Maybe like I said, try to be a company driver for a year or two, and if prices fall, buy in if prices are dirt cheap on a truck. And you can't just leave it sit though. You gotta like you know excuse me, keep it running, and just look after it. You can't just let it degrade while it's sitting there. Maybe cover the tires up so they don't dry rot, things like that. But that's for you, Elf Fe. Like I said, I hope I didn't like go after you hard or anything, but I don't want anybody to be in a predicament, maybe such as myself or worse, because like I said. Data Q, what if I've done my title, my still not set? Hold it. What if I don't have my title? I still. Well, that's me. I don't have my title either. Like I said, you'll either have electronic title or you'll have a copy of the title from your lease company. If you have a copy of the title, like an actual copy of the title with the lease company, or I mean the bank as a lien holder, you just send them that, and Texas will be like, okay. See, I had electronic title. My title wasn't printed out by Pennsylvania. I went and had the title transferred because the truck originally was a Texas title. I had it transferred to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania and a lot of states now are saving. I guess they're saving money in paper by just having it electronically saved. This is your title number and this is where you're at. So I guess Texas, it made it look different, or I don't know. Just Texas didn't want to. They wanted to make sure it was real, I guess. Kind of was the problem narrowing down to there. Let's see. Tango 213. $23,000 for a DD15 overhaul plus $4,500 for the valve adjustment. $4,500 for the valve adjustment. You mean like you mean valve train rebuild? I hope that ain't an adjustment for $4,500. 15,000 miles. I don't know about the miles. Who is a CEO? No, I'm just talking about people. Dananova. I'm just talking about people. If you go on YouTube right now, you'll see guys that are getting on the Prime recently. Okay. Getting on the Prime recently with lease trucks and stuff. And, they're calling themselves CEOs and all this stuff. And they're, I bought my new gold chain, and I don't know. It's the whole hustle. They're trying to get subscribers. They're trying to get, but I mean, I just don't see how you could do that and still think that you're like that. I mean, I'm not coming from anywhere. I'm not coming from a side. Look at me. I'm in a freaking frozen truck right now. It's blown up. I'm not, I'll say this. I'm a failed business owner right now. I'll go out and say it. Shit just happened. It wasn't like I decided to go in and gamble my money away or something, but but to be going out and just throwing chains around and saying I'm a CEO and a lease purchase driver, actually you might even be a purchase driver, to be honest, at Prime right now. I don't think you can even purchase them, but you'll see that crap out there. YouTube's turned into like a bullshit hustle a little bit, and it's just I don't know. It's the same thing too with Facebook. You'll see these guys. I go in there all the time. I have to try to call out. Be like, are you seriously gonna try to get money? Like, like you get some random hot girl with her titties hanging out. I can give you a business loan on freaking the Facebook groups and stuff. And these guys are actually like, I messaged you, I'll help you. I'm like, are you freaking serious? I'm like, obviously, all you have to do is like look into, like click on her page and stuff, and it's just, it is what it is. And that's what I'm saying. That's also, I think, the problem with this industry. The business, You know what? It's actually a problem with probably. It's actually, yeah, okay, just reconnected. It's actually a problem with society right now. It's just the mentality is like, I don't know. Nobody treats anything seriously anymore. Nobody wants to. There's guys that call brokers up and are like, "What you pay?" or "What's it pay?" That's all they ask. They don't ask where's it going or anything. You can't run a business like that. You're setting yourself up for failure. Um, see, Elf. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. No dreams crushed. Appreciate it. Hey, no, I hope I didn't come down hard on you. I don't want, this is just not the time to do it. Like I got the short end of the stick when I jumped in. I thought I was going to jump into it, and I did for a month or two. If the truck didn't have problems, I would have a lot more money sitting around than this. I probably would have 30 grand sitting in my freaking business account, 40 grand, actually, to be honest, more, because I would have still had all the money that I saved up for maintenance and stuff. I would maybe, if things would have went perfect, even with the market going down, I would maybe have like 60 or 70, 80 grand sitting in a business account. Who the hell makes 80 grand? Normal out here people, don't listen to this, Alfie. I'm just saying, this was a miracle area, like back then. Right there was in 2021, 2022, whatever. That's not the normal. I mean, for some people, maybe like doing oversized and heavy haul and having, if they have really like good direct customers and stuff, you might be able to do that normally. But just off the spot market, generally, money everywhere, you could fall out of the truck and fall over a pile of money practically. I just got left out. I didn't start soon enough, and I just had too many problems. And when the problems did happen, I was still counting. I figured that market would still be there, still right now. I figured it would still pretty be decent, at least into 2023, summer 2023. And so when the truck was broken and sitting getting fixed somewhere, I didn't really get on it that much. I was like, well, I don't have really any bills. I can enjoy a week off. So what I have to pay the carrier, the $900 a week or whatever for the trailer rental and everything else. But I got displacement. There are things that now I look back, I wish I did differently and stuff, and you can't, I can't do that. So that's just me trying to help you out there, Elfie. Good luck. Like I said, find a good company to get with. I don't know if you're getting your license. Let me look up what you said. Did you get your license yourself, or did you go through, a company or whatnot? Are you like sign a contract with somewhere? I mean, if you got it yourself, I mean, you can still, to be honest, even now, it's kind of easy with some local companies. You could probably maybe get on with a nice local company, and just be careful. Don't do nothing crazy. Keep your CDL clean. And like I said, maybe in 2 years you could be an owner operator. Maybe a little less if you catch on fast enough and you actually like watch, maybe take what take some of the information I give you, or like watch DIY or Cash or F8, or there's other good channels out there too. But then again, like I said, you gotta be able to put your boots on, get the shovel, and walk through some of the bullshit on YouTube and Facebook, and the whole hustle game, and see through some of that before you just make terrible decisions. Like, for you to take 75 grand and just throw it out there right now, and don't trust me, I don't even know. I mean, you ain't gonna find it on my channel, but if you did this on other big channels, or if you went on Facebook and did that, like in a Facebook group, or, oh my God, you would be inundated with IMs with people. I'll help set up your authority. I'll do this. I'll help you get a truck. You'll have everybody trying to hustle and take that 75 grand off you. So before you really go ask for help from anybody, do not tell them you have 75 grand cash to go throw down on a truck. I hate this. I hate that the freaking trucking industry turned into that. I mean, it was always kind of schemy a little bit before, but it's gotten really bad. I mean, especially when, when the money really got injected into it, there was little rats weaseled out of the woodwork all over the place. So, yeah, you got a receipt for your title, and you can get it. You can get the Delanova. Yeah, see, Elfie, you got the see. That's going to be a little hard, but you could probably definitely still find a company job. Maybe you get into FedEx. There's still a lot of training. To be honest, from what I heard, don't count me on this. If you want to maybe try to do the over the road thing a little bit, somebody said there's Toby Hanna. I know somebody said Toby Hanna Walmart is training uh new greenhorns that just have their CDL. I don't know. Maybe that's internally. Maybe I don't know. But that's what I heard. So you could probably still get with a half decent company and at least get some experience under your belt and at least see the bullshit that's going on out here. You'll get to experience the bags of feces on the ground, guys throwing piss on the side of your truck, people ripping your bumpers off and stuff when you're taking a shower. You'll get to experience the whole game and decide whether or not this is something you want to become a part of and invest into. Because like I said, profit margins are some, like I said, sometimes it's right now it's about who you know. Before you make that decision and take 75 grand and just, I don't know how old you are too, and there's other, you should think, like I said, I don't know your actual situation, but just think about it before you do something like that. Okay, or I'm gonna put my Cash App down there, and you can Cash App me 50 grand, and I will help you run your business. And the first thing though is you'll have to make a donation to the let's see, knocking on heaven's door fund. And I will help you succeed in your trucking ventures. No, but no, seriously though, think about before you just take that amount of money and think long term wise and stuff. Oh, let's see. I've been going here now. Well, I don't know. I was going for like 3 hours. I don't know what happened to the live timer. But I guess if anybody else like Elfie in here, that isn't, is like a greenhorn or maybe has some questions for me that, I don't know, maybe you haven't asked DIY or Cash or something. Like I said, most of the guys in here are seasoned. I don't want to leave anybody out in the cold that hasn't, asked a question or something or wanted to know anything. Anybody? All right, well, I guess I'm done here. Like I said, there's probably somebody else more knowledgeable right now with their live feed on or doing something. So I'm going to go inside, even though I have tons of food here. I'll probably go inside to get something to eat because at least I'll be a little warm. And their cheesesteaks here are freaking delicious as hell. So maybe I'll go in there and get a cheesesteak. Man, if I think about all the money I've probably given for food over the last couple of years. Before, to be honest, I was actually pretty fit. I ended up going off on a tangent here, but I just feel like talking about it. I ended up working for AAA corporate in Philadelphia as a flatbed driver, and I would get tips all the time. And oh my god, I would try out every good cheesesteak place in Philadelphia because I didn't really grow up in Philly, but I was outside on the suburbs, and I would get $50 tips sometimes. As you can see, I'm pretty good. I don't know. I try to help people out. I've helped people out with their engine, all kinds of stuff. So I used to get some good tips, and I tell you what, I gained like over a course of 5 years, I probably gained like 10 or 15 pounds a year eating cheesesteaks and shit. And then I lost a little bit, but now I'm, it's I don't know, it's hard to, you just don't do nothing. It's not even about how much you eat sometimes. It's just, you don't do nothing as a trucker. So, yeah, as I get off on that tangent, calling myself fat. But yeah, I hope I helped you out there, Elfie. Uh, and Data Nova. I'm pretty sure I'm probably butchering your name. I don't know. I just see Data Nova. So Data Nova. Um, yeah, I'm gonna get off here. I guess I'll let this get posted up, and yeah, everybody have a good night. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Cash. Thank you, Will Burner. Thanks. Like I said, I'm not really trying to make this a pity party. I guess it's um, it is turning into everybody likes to see a good crash, and that's kind of like what it's turning into. But thanks for everybody for your support, and even like F8 was trying to buy me a hotel and stuff. I'm not like homeless, but it's thank you. It's like I said, I would really like to like sit down with some of you guys one day, and like maybe I'll be able to get to what in Kentucky when they have the forgot about what it was, because I know when they had the big bug, they canceled a lot of stuff. But maybe I'll be able to sit down with some of you guys and have a beer and dinner and bullshit with, like even some of the bigger guys. It'd be nice to at least just say hi and at least shake their hand and bullshit with them a little bit, like Just Trucking, Making Sense. I don't want to get into any of the drama of all being a YouTube fanboy or whatever you want to call it, but it'd be nice to at least meet all you people like face to face, like DIY, especially F8. Like I can't believe you did that. Like that was really I don't want to be like gay style, but that was kind of touching. Not in a gay way. But no, thanks. Thanks everybody. So I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go get myself a cheesesteak, and yeah, I guess I'll watch some YouTube and ponder about what kind of game plan I'm gonna come up here to try to pull myself out of this predicament. Because obviously, there's only so many game plans you can switch to and get your way out of predicaments to when you run out. So, yeah. All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. Be safe, especially if you're out there and I guess there's snow through Pennsylvania now too. Last I heard, 80 was still all messed up and shut down in Iowa and South Dakota and all that. I don't know what. I'm hungry. I get gassy for some reason when I get like haven't ate for a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. It was real nice talking to everybody. All right. Have a good night. Merry Christmas. I know I'm gonna probably talk to everybody on here again. But see ya.